own your house, have a couple bucks in the bank. Don't drink.
I mean, it was really fun. I haven't been sailing in a year and a half, 2 years.
Since comedy?
I haven't done anything since comedy, dude.
I'm going to open up one of these if it's
Yeah,
cool.
do it.
What do you got? You got watermelon, and pamplemousse.
Which is like grapefruit.
I'm going to go with pamplemousse.
Yeah. I like them both.
Thank you. It just sounded like a funny name.
Yeah, dude. Okay.
All right, so I'm at your whim. What do you need me to do?
Okay, so we're rolling.
Okay.
Let me just check these sound levels. And it's like a stage mic, so you kind of got to keep it
up to your mouth?
Keep it up to your mouth.
All right.
And
is it directional? Is it one of those Shure mics?
check. Yeah, it's a Shure SM58.
There you go. All right, I'm familiar with this.
So it's pretty legit.
I could run it over with the truck.
What?
You didn't know that? That's
No.
like one of their advertising things that they go, these things are indestructible, and then they have like a video of somebody running over it.
Shure microphones?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Sure.
know that.
SM58 specifically.
That's sick.
They're like
All right.
standard industry.
Yeah. Well, I am standard industry.
Dang. Is that your pickup line for the ladies?
That's my Tinder bio. Standard industry guy.
Standard industry ladies.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing the podcast, dude. I wanted to interview you because I admire everything you've done in comedy. And
You should not admire anything I do.
I admire your work ethic. You're very approachable for newer comics, generous with advice and giving opportunities on shows that you run. So
I just try to pass down what people were generous with me with, man. I don't think anyone in this, specifically this space for like entertainment, like anyone really does anything alone, you know?
for sure.
But there are some people that are a little bit more, close to the chest with their experiences, and there's other people who are just like, hey, this is my life. Learn from it.
Yeah, it feels like there's kind of two perspectives. Like some people are like a rising tide lifts all boats,
Yeah.
right? And they're
Never heard that before, but that sounds cool.
generous with everything that they know, and they don't gatekeep. Other people do. There's some gatekeeping out there.
Yeah, you've experienced some of that?
I've experienced some of that, and I don't know if it's gatekeeping or I feel like some people get like years into comedy and realize maybe that giving advice is a little bit futile. Because you have to figure things out on your own anyways.
Yes.
So,
but I grew up with old people. I feel like that's all old folk is like. You could tell everybody how to do something and why it should be done that way, and there's only going to be like 1 out of 10 people that actually listen. Everybody else has to like, oh, I had to experience it myself.
right. Okay. You grew up with old people. That's a perfect segue into my first question.
Let's do it.
Which I like. What was it like growing up as a young Angel Castro in Mexico?
Very broad.
Yeah. You can go anywhere you want with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know how much we've talked about this before, but like
Not a lot.
it's convoluted.
Okay.
So like I was born in Oakland, right? And then I was taken out to Mexico at 1 year old with my grandma. So I grew up out there with her till like I was like 5, 6. Then I came over here back again and I started elementary school, kindergarten, preschool type of thing. But then I moved back because I forgot how to speak Spanish.
Okay.
So then I left the U.S. and went back to Mexico in second grade. Did second grade out in Mexico.
So was your first language Spanish?
Yes.
Okay.
First language is Spanish, and then I moved out here, learned English,
Okay.
and then so I moved out here, like I said, kindergarten, preschool era, learned English, and realized, oh my God, everybody speaks English in this country. Maybe I should speak this more.
Yeah.
So then that's all I was speaking.
Okay.
Once I cracked that key, I was like, this is amazing.
Was Spanish spoken in the home still?
My mom did not speak a lick of English.
Okay.
My dad came here as a teenager, so he spoke and he speaks English well and he understands everything. But my mom came here as an adult, so she didn't speak any English.
Okay.
And so when I learned English and I didn't want to speak Spanish, she was like, "Fuck that," and she sent me back to Mexico.
Yeah. Okay.
She was like, "You're not gonna forget your native tongue."
How's her English now?
It's still okay.
Okay.
She understands everything,
Yeah.
but she runs into what a lot of immigrants run into, which is like they know what they want to say, they just don't know how to communicate it. So like that's when you get the funny words that sound really awkward that you're like, oh, Actually, the headliner that this weekend, Frankie Marcos, he does a great impersonation of an immigrant trying to speak English.
Okay.
But you just get like the passion of what you want to say with the combination of like, this sounds right.
Okay. Yeah, that is kind of inherently funny. I get that though a little bit because, like we were talking earlier, my family has roots in France and in that area, in Luxembourg. Je parle français un peu.
Oh, je m'appelle Angel. J'étudie en français un semestre.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oui.
So that's awesome. I've been to France a handful of times. I did a semester in London, and then we've done family trips out there. But I studied French in high school.
Nice.
And then felt very much like I could understand anything that was being said to me, but my ability to
reciprocate.
I couldn't communicate my thoughts. You know, I could communicate a very watered down version of my thoughts, which just using French as a hobby essentially was very frustrating. So I can't imagine moving here and not speaking the language and having to get by. That's it's a different challenge.
It's insane how much like the balls of immigrants to just be like, I'm going to go where I don't master the language and I'm going to make it work.
Yeah.
It's insane. Not just for Mexicans, but like immigrants in general. Like they got some balls, dude.
I don't mean to make this about me, and we're going to go back to you in a minute, but my dad's parents, they're both dead. They died by the time he was 17, so I never met them. Thank you. They met. Both of them were born outside of the U.S. His dad was born in Luxembourg. His mom was she's Portuguese, but she was born in Hong Kong.
Oh.
And they both immigrated to the U.S. and met in a French-speaking club in San Francisco because that was like that was the best language they had in common. They both happened to be at that French-speaking club. So he grew up speaking French. That was his first language.
Your father's?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, they both did that. They both moved to the U.S. without having any English to speak of.
And they found common love in French.
And they found it. Yeah.
They were like, fuck
in the
English.
language of love.
Yeah. Hey, I forgot. Yeah. That's right. It's a romantic language.
Yeah.
All the Latin roots.
Yep. So you moved back to the U.S. in second grade?
Yeah, dude. Okay, so I didn't even finish. So I got convoluted. So I moved out of the U.S. in second grade.
Okay.
I came back in third.
Okay.
Because I forgot English, and no one speaks English in Mexico.
Yep.
And then I was out here till seventh grade, and in seventh grade, or right before seventh grade started, my grandma was like, "I miss you. Do you want to come stay with me again?" Mm-hmm. And I fucking love my grandma. She's my mom. She raised me. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, okay. And I moved back for seventh grade, and I did seventh grade in Mexico.
Wow.
And then I was going to keep staying there, but my mom really wanted me to go to college. And so by that age, I kind of like had an idea of what it would take more or less. And I knew that because having jumped around a lot, I didn't dominate neither language. Mm-hmm. Like I was well-versed in Spanish. I could communicate in English, but like both class subjects were like my worst subjects because I didn't know how to write a whole lot of good in English. I didn't know how to write a whole lot of good in Spanish or read.
Right.
So I was like, okay, if I'm going to go to college, I need to dominate English. I need to get better at English.
Yeah.
And so I told my mom, I was like, look, I want to stay with grandma, but if I'm going to go to college, I need to do high school in America. And so I came back at the end of seventh grade and finished out school out here. It's
impressive that you had the presence of mind to know that at that age.
Well, it didn't feel like it was impressive because like my mom being an immigrant, like there's two different immigrant stories. Mm-hmm. There's usually an immigrant where it's like they're a astrophysicist and they move to the U.S. and they become a janitor because they don't get an opportunity to exert what they practice or what they learned. Or there's the other side, which is more my mom's situation where it's just like she never had an opportunity to go to school. She was the oldest of like 10, and my grandpa was like a Mexican man from the 40s and 30s. So he was like, your position is in the kitchen.
Okay.
And so he literally kicked her out of school to work to help fend for the family. So she never got an opportunity to go to school. Yeah. So for me and my sisters, school was the only option. My mom was like, you guys got no excuses. Mm-hmm. And so growing up, like college was always there was no one in my family that knew how to get there or what it would take, but it was more like you got to get there.
Yeah.
So that's why even at that age, I was like, I got to figure out how to get there.
Your mom was the oldest of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Another corollary between our families is my dad's mom was the youngest of, oh no, was it 10 or 13? 13.
God damn, dude.
Yeah.
Wait, and that's the Luxembourg side?
That's the Hong Kong Portuguese side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's a we're having kids just in case some of them don't make them.
Yeah.
Don't
I
make
don't
it.
like, I honestly, I don't understand the mindset of having that many kids.
I really do think it's just a numbers game, dude. Like they were just like, hey, some of these are gonna make it past 5th grade.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's gonna be a war.
They're just playing the numbers. We'll get a good one
Yeah.
if we have enough.
We just need one to become a priest so that we're saved
Yeah.
on that end.
Yeah.
We need one to take care of us when we get older.
Yep.
And everything else is like, you don't know what might happen.
Yeah. So we need the ethical, moral one, and we need the rich one, and
Yes.
everyone else, fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you fall? You said you have sisters?
I grew up with 3 younger sisters. So
Okay.
I have 3 younger sisters. I'm the oldest. The next one after me is like 2 years younger. The one after that is 5. And then the baby that I grew up with, she's 13 years younger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
she was like my first foray into like, what is it like to have kids? Like actively, like I remember what my parents went through, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want that.
I feel that. There's 12 years between myself and the youngest.
So you know exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you, the like therapy speak is like parentified. Did you have parental duties?
No. I think my parents were really good about them being the parents,
Yeah.
but I think I don't know how your experience was, but I feel like you kind of fall into that by yourself just because you are looking out for them like an
Yes.
older sibling, and
Yes.
you almost don't want them to become your other siblings.
Sure.
So it's not that you're being a parent, it's just you're like, I want to mold you.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, it was like I had my experience, and I think that I'm also like, you talk about nature versus nurture. I'm naturally a caregiver, and also being the oldest kind of puts you in that role.
Yeah.
So I think it's both. But like, as the oldest, you have your own experience of what it was like growing up, and you can help them along or make things better for them in ways that, there wasn't someone available to you to do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I did a lot of that.
Yeah, no, for
growing
sure.
up.
I tried to make her a tomboy, dude. I was like, I need a brother. I was like, you like video games and Transformers, don't
That's
you?
awesome.
And the moment she grabbed a Barbie, I was like, it's over.
Yeah. What did young Angel want to be?
Dude, I remember being like 10 years old and saying I was gonna be a lawyer.
Really?
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
From parents. So I'm telling you, like, education was never like a sure plan. Like I knew exactly how it was gonna work out, but it was just like, you got to be something.
Yeah.
Like my mom, like I'm telling you, like my mom was really smart. My mom, before she ended up having to drop out of school to help her family and help like pay for everything.
Yeah.
Because she ended up working with my grandpa, but I would hear stories growing up. So my mom, when I was growing up in Mexico, my mom and my dad were out here, and I was just with my grandma out in Mexico. So I would see my aunts and my uncles, and they would be like, your mom was so smart. Like teachers would pay for her books. Like that's how much potential they felt she had.
Okay.
Like your mom, like when we were all being kids and like messing around, your mom
Yeah.
would wake up and walk like to school because she loved it.
Wow.
And so like for her, it was always of like a missed opportunity that she felt like she never got a chance to live out, you know? So so growing up, dude, it was two different sides of a coin. My mom was more like, you got to go to school. You got to be something. You got to be a doctor. You got to be a lawyer. You got to do something with your life. My dad chose to drop out of high school.
Okay.
So my dad came here as like a 11, 12-year-old as an immigrant, and he went to high school out in Mission District, actually. He went to Mission High in San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
But he dropped out.
Yeah.
We've never really talked about it, but like what I gather from my grandma and what I gather from his experience being an immigrant, like I imagine he probably faced like a little bit of like, I don't fit in.
Yeah.
Learning the language and like not really, especially in the mission. And this was probably like the late 70s, early 80s. Like, I don't think it was gang ridden yet, but he probably just felt very different.
Sure.
And so my dad's always been like I'm a workhorse. Like, I know I can work hard. He's never been a book guy. So he literally told me, he went up to my grandma and he's like, I don't know what I'm doing in this school. Let me just go work.
Yeah.
And so he dropped out at like 16, 17 and just started working.
Okay.
So my dad's always been, as far as like education's concerned, do what you want.
Yeah.
He's always been like, you see how he's a truck driver. It's like, you see how I live, you see how much money I make, you see my lifestyle. If you don't want this, don't follow in my footsteps.
Yeah.
And my mom's always been the opposite. My mom's always like, you have no choice. You got to go to school. You got to become a lawyer or a doctor.
Those are two different, they're different perspectives, but also the same in a way of like, they're both very no nonsense. Neither of them are like, at least how I'm hearing it, it feels like, you know, your dad, he has a very real perspective on life. He's a truck driver. He makes this amount of money. He's like, this is the option I chose, so you know what this is.
Yeah.
And your mom is also no nonsense, but like, you need to be a doctor or a lawyer.
She, no nonsense, but I don't give a fuck what you think.
Yeah, yeah. So she would say doctor or lawyer. Those are the only two things she would say.
Those were the main things she would aspire for us to be.
Yeah.
I want you guys to do something like that.
Okay.
She, again, having no education, she doesn't really know what it entails.
Yeah.
Or how to get there, or like what you got to do to achieve that. But early on, like, I honestly think I when I said I was 10 years old and I want to be a lawyer, I think I heard that lawyers is a shorter career. Like for
shorter
studying.
Schooling, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I heard that for doctor. I think I remember being like a little kid and hearing doctors, it takes like a decade to be a doctor. And I was like, let me just do the shorter one.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me just get out of this pathway faster and make money faster.
And now you've thrown aside being a lawyer.
Yeah.
And now you're in. Well, okay, we'll get to that because that's very interesting to me.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. So, well, we might as well talk about it right now. What led you to be? Because you were so zoned in on being a lawyer. It's basically in your DNA because you've heard it from your mom your whole life, and you never questioned it through high school. Never questioned it.
Never.
And then you go to college. Did you go to Davis for undergrad?
I did.
And you went to Davis for law school?
I transferred back into Davis for law school, but yeah, I didn't start there, but I transferred back in and finished there.
Where'd you start?
Started at Hastings, UC Hastings in San Francisco.
Okay. Great school.
Yeah. Well, now it's rebranded University of California, whatever the fuck it is.
All right.
It's they're going through an identity crisis. They're in their teens.
Yeah. But you were a man on a mission.
Yeah.
And you were looking at a career ladder that has a track record of success and is a number one choice of a lot of people. And then you chose comedy. How did that happen?
There's a I don't know exactly at one point. I mean, I could tell you what happened in my experience. So, yeah, I go to high school, but there's like moments that like gear me in that pathway. Mm-hmm. So like there's moments of me trying to break away from that set path that my parents essentially kind of laid out as an option. And there's other moments that put me back into it. Yeah. So like, for instance, like I never questioned, like I said, I was 10 years old saying I want to be a lawyer, and that's kind of like, I need to go to college. I need to do that. Mm-hmm. But then like my dad and my mom always worked graveyard shifts.
Okay.
So she was always like, I pick you up in the morning and I take you to school, and then she comes home and she sleeps all day, and then at night she takes off for work. So during the day, my dad would usually pick us up like after school, and like he'd be the one cooking meals for us, or like watching over us, or like kind of like when he wasn't busy at work or away for something, he'd be the one that we'd be spending time with. Mm-hmm. And so I remember a long time being with my dad, and like we would just bond over the cooking channel. Mm-hmm. And so he and I would just watch like the Food Network at night when he was like done with his stuff and I was done with like homework and stuff, we'd just be watching like Iron Chef, the original Japanese one.
Awesome. Okay.
We'd be watching that. We'd be watching Alton Brown, Good Eats,
Rachel Ray,
Emerald Lagasse.
Stewart.
No.
Okay.
I did not like Martha.
All right.
I knew there was something wrong with
Yeah.
No, I didn't particularly like her style of cooking,
Mhm.
and I was more of like I said, Emerald Lagasse was when we watched a lot.
Okay.
He had like charisma.
Mm-hmm.
Alton Brown, I feel like had the data, which always like interested me.
Yeah.
And then Iron Chef was just like the pressure of like contest,
Yeah.
where it's
Yeah.
like you see them running around doing. Anyway, so we watched
Yeah.
a lot of Iron Chef, and so for like a moment, I remember being like, what if I became a chef? Like, what would that be like?
How old were you?
This was like 14, 15 years old.
Okay.
Like, and the reason why that came into question was because my high school had a program where during your junior year, so end of 10th grade, beginning of junior year, you can enter into this program. It's like a trade school program
Okay.
where they send you to the local community college and
Mhm.
you start to take trade classes.
Mm-hmm.
So like they would offer cooking, they would offer like auto mechanics, body work, they would offer just several different kinds of career paths for people who were interested in the trades.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember feeling that way and being like, I kind of want to explore maybe my 11th grade, some cooking classes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go up to the counselor and she's helping me pick out my classes for next year. And she's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I kind of want to take cooking classes at the trade program. And she looks at my transcript and she goes, ooh, honey, you actually have a chance to go to college. I can't let you take those classes.
Really?
I swear to you, she says that
What
to
an
me.
interesting choice for her to say that.
And I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean
Yeah.
you can't do it? And she was just
Wow.
like, you actually have a chance of going to college.
Yeah.
And so that's when I realized like some programs aren't for everybody.
Yeah. So you were 14 and that was the first time that you were like
15.
15 you
Yeah.
were like, okay, maybe there's another path for me.
Yeah.
But she shut it down and you were like, okay.
Yeah. It was like, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
She was, because she was like very adamant. She's like, because at that point, they had the A through Z requirements for getting into college.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what it was, but essentially, if you take certain classes, most even state schools kind of almost guarantee you admission.
Yep.
A through C or something like that. I forget what they're called, but essentially,
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
used to sell software to school districts. And
Oh, okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I can't think of the name.
yeah, but it's like an alphabet thing,
Mhm.
where it's
Yeah.
like a certain amount of math, certain amount of English,
Yep.
et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera.
And it guarantees you admission to
Yeah.
to the state system.
At least, yeah.
Yep.
So because of that, she took a look at my transcript and she was just like, "Nah, you got a chance."
Okay.
Which, in retrospect, how nice of her.
Right.
But that was like the first instinct I remember of like like I was interested in something else.
Yeah.
And just being like essentially told no.
Right. Right. Okay.
So then
So that's 15.
that's
Then
15.
what happened?
It just I finish out all my high school requirements. I take the exit exam. I apply for college. No idea what I'm doing.
Mhm.
And to this day, I probably won't listen to this podcast because it's very obscure and I haven't been in touch with him since high school. But this dude named Julio.
How dare you call this podcast obscure, dude? We're going to get at least tens of views.
I mean, I hope he's one of those 10. Julio was this homie that I had in high school who was also like a very smart Latino. So in a school of 600 graduating class, which was not what we started with. We started with like close to 900 students my freshman year. By the time we graduated, only 600 graduated.
Wow.
Out of those 600, Julio, myself, Carla, and maybe one other person were the only Latinos in the top 10% of the whole school.
Okay.
And Julio was by far much more like smarter, grounded, put together dude. And so when I told him, I was like, I'm trying to go to college, 11th grade. He's the one who kind of walked me through signing up for the SAT. He's the one who kind of walked me through like.
He was your peer. He was also in 11th grade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also first generation. His dad was an immigrant. His mom, I think, was an immigrant. I don't think his mom even spoke English, just like mine. But he was much more like I think I've been much more like I have these aspirations, but we'll see how we get there.
Okay.
Julio has been, or at least was, always more of like, this is what I need to do. I'm much more organized, much more prepared, much more studied, in focused.
Sure.
And so I met Julio my sophomore year. We played soccer together. He was a fellow nerd Mexican. There's not many of us in that high school, so we kind of bonded. And when I told him, hey, I'm trying to go to college too, he's like, cool. Did you sign up for the SAT? And I was like, no, what's that? He's like, you should look into it. And so I signed up for it.
What a guy.
Yeah. Which, by the way, fell asleep during the SATs. Fell asleep during the SATs.
All right.
I try to go to, I'm applying for college. I remember the night I was applying for colleges. I go, Julio, what's a major?
Oh man. So your counselor was kind of useless in high school.
I don't think, no, I don't want to put them on them. I think that with at least the Bay Area public school district that we were in, I think it was overwhelming.
Sure.
I think they did the best they could with the resources they had and the time that they had. So like even the fact that one guidance counselor guided me away from the trade schools and into college, like even that was like she changed my life essentially.
Yeah.
But like I didn't know, like I told you, I wasn't preparing like other people were in high school about college.
Yeah.
My parents were like, you're gonna go to college, right? I was like, yeah. And that was the extent of it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I had to like start preparing for these tests or start getting my material, gathering letters of recommendation, or I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
I kind of just did it on the fly.
Yeah.
Which led to other issues. Like I said, I fell asleep during the SAT.
Yeah.
We stayed up the night before the SAT. We stayed up playing video games till like 2 a.m.
Oh my God.
At my friend's house. Julio met us Julio didn't stay with us that night, but he met us at the testing center.
Yeah.
But I stayed with some other guys who were playing video games. Yeah, dude. So
But you get a good enough score on the SAT. You
Good enough
into college. What major did you choose?
I picked psychology.
Okay.
And then there ended up going with psychology because when I asked Julio, I was like, what's a major? And he's just like, just pick something that sounds interesting. And I go, well, I just took a psychology class. That kind of sounds interesting. So I just picked that. Yep. That was the choice.
Yep.
I applied the day of the deadline.
Okay.
I literally wrote my personal statement on the website.
Yep.
Which was at that time it was like
you just wrote it right into the website.
Right into the website. No
drafts.
No drafts.
I love
No no editing.
Yeah.
No spell check.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
and sent it out. Found out later that I sent my SAT scores to 4 schools, 2 of which I didn't apply to.
Okay.
And then I sent my application to I only applied to the UC system because the UCs had like apply to 1, apply to 4. I didn't know there was fee waivers. I didn't know there was I most definitely qualified for it, but I didn't know that. So
paid the fees.
Paid the fees. Yeah. Out of the 4 UCs I applied to, 2 didn't get my SAT scores because I didn't send it to them.
Okay.
So out of the 4 schools I applied to, and out of the 4 schools I sent out my SAT scores, only 2 schools got both. And I got into UC Santa Barbara and UC Davis. I did not get into Berkeley. I did not get into UCLA.
All right.
And the reason why I chose Davis was because I heard Santa Barbara had 1 in 10 STDs.
And you were like, I'm going to be out there fucking. I can't take the risk, dude.
I was like,
I got to go to the healthiest student population.
I was like, I don't know what fucking is yet, but if I'm going to be doing it, because I heard it happens a lot at college.
That's very smart.
Yeah. I need to make sure.
That's awesome. So you go to Davis, psychology major. You still haven't thought about getting into comedy.
No, I'm still on track for I got to go to law school.
Yeah. Okay. So then you graduate, you go to law school.
I graduate.
How do we get to comedy?
So comedy it starts in high school. It starts in high school. Like looking back in retrospective with 2020, George Lopez releases Why You Crying in high school.
Okay.
And I am all over that fucking CD, dude. Like I love it.
CD.
Yeah. The CD, Why You Crying.
Yeah.
I had it burned. It wasn't even original.
Yep. All mine were burned too.
Yeah, so I'm all over it. I'm listening to it. It's so relatable. It feels like he's talking about my family. Like he's everything in that CD just hit hard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy's hilarious. But in my head, I'm just like, I grew up watching comedy in Mexico because comedy is big, but they do more like prop comedy or character comedy.
Okay.
So we were always watching comedy, but this is stand up for the first time. And I'm just like, this is different, but it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just comedy.
Yeah.
Then I find that same year, I find George Carlin.
Okay.
And the way I come across George Carlin was watching The Zeitgeist. You ever watch that movie, The Zeitgeist? So during 2007, 2008, there's this movie that comes out on the internet called The Zeitgeist where it talks about the conspiracy of 9/11. It talks about how like there's secret world powers controlling governments.
Is it a documentary or a movie?
It's a movie.
Okay.
It's styled like a documentary.
Okay.
And then they kind of like are pushing like conspiracies essentially. Like Bush is behind 9/11.
Love it.
There's these secret billionaires that run the monetary fund, which essentially is a private entity. They give facts. Like they code it in facts.
Yeah.
But it's essentially the spin on it is it's like everyone's lying to you. Somebody's behind.
It does
the
sound
wheel.
like a George Carlin special.
So that movie opens up with a George Carlin bit because
Okay.
one of the things that movie does is it criticizes religion as a control for the masses.
Mm-hmm.
And George Carlin hates organized religion.
Yeah.
And they use the bit of holy shit. Have you ever heard George Carlin's holy shit bit?
I'm sure I have, but remind me.
So I'm going to butcher it. I know I'm not going to say it off the top of my head 100%, but he goes, religion has convinced you that there's an invisible man flying around in this space, watching everything you do every single day of every minute of every hour.
Mm-hmm.
And he has these list of 10 commandments that he wants you to follow. And if you don't follow them, he's going to send you to a place to burn and die in hell for the rest of eternity. But he loves you.
Yeah. Okay.
So it opens up with that bit. Dude.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is brilliant. Like it like as a 17-year-old, this was like the most philosophically like mind expanding joke I have ever heard, which is like, it's hilarious and yet it's true. Mm-hmm. So George Lopez and then George Carlin. Yeah. Those are the two things that kind of like start planting the seeds of comedy. And so I go off to college. I'm struggling. Mm-hmm. I wasn't prepared. High school didn't prepare me for college. I struggle a lot, but I'm making my way. I'm making paces. In college, I took everything Julio taught me of like trying to be prepared, or I don't know if he even taught me it. He just kind of showed me it. Yeah. But I try to internalize it, and I try to become more organized, more directive, more deliberate with my actions and what I'm doing and how I'm preparing for stuff because shit is real now. I'm in college. Yeah. Now I'm an adult. Now I'm on my own. Now I don't have a Julio to just cling on to and ask. Yeah. I got to figure it out myself. And throughout that whole time, every time I would feel like stressed out, every time I would feel like I didn't do as good on a test or something, like the only thing that ever kept me like sane was comedy. Yeah. Okay. Like I would watch specials, or I would listen to like my favorite bits, that from back in the day, George Lopez or Fluffy. Mm-hmm. I find D.L. Hughley, I find Louis C.K., I find all these other comics throughout that time. That's like whenever I'm feeling down, I just try to watch like a comedy. Yeah. And it like brings me up because there's like I said, my favorite type of comedy after George Carlin was like where there's a little grain of truth in how we look at the world, but it's still funny to think about it in a different way, Were you a loner in college? No. Well, I'm a loner as a person. Yeah. But I am too. Yeah. Yeah. But I tried to because I am that way, I tried, like I told you, I tried to change who I was in college. Yeah. So like I joined a fraternity. Okay. I was president of my fraternity. Oh wow, I never would have guessed that. Yeah. That's cool. I was a part of it wasn't a huge fraternity, but it was a multicultural Latino based fraternity, Sigma Lambda Beta. And we were a small chapter. We were like, I think when I joined, we were at the biggest we were ever going to be, which is like 15 people. Okay. And so by the time I graduated, like we were the last, we like died out. Yeah. The reason I asked is I was definitely a loner in college, especially I did 2 years at a junior college and then I transferred. I went to Santa Clara. Oh, nice. And I lived off campus.
Didn't know anyone. Made some friends, but I used comedy in the same way. And you're like, I didn't really realize that until you said it. But college is stressful.
Yeah.
And whenever I was feeling it, I would go to YouTube and find someone's comedy special to watch. And
dude, Russell Peters on YouTube with
Yeah.
the what is it, red, brown, and white or something like that?
Mhm. I listened to him. I listened to. Do you know Dylan Moran?
No.
He's a UK comic. He's from Ireland. He is so funny to me. I love Dylan Moran.
And he's one of those guys that you
And
would
he's
go
one of
to?
those guys. I would put him in my headphones as I'm like walking from class to class, and I was literally like just laughing out loud.
Yeah, dude. It's there's something to say about like when you're feeling that down, just a comedy can change your state of mind, your mood. You're like, it's also like it gives perspective. Because like some comics make you realize like things aren't as bad as you think they are, or even if they are, they're not forever.
Yeah,
you know, like priorities, importance, it all changes and it's all relative. And even though what you might be going through right now or what you might be experiencing right now might feel like the worst, and it might feel like it's never ending, like the reality of it is like those kinds of comedies help me feel like this is just momentary.
Yeah.
And in the grand scheme of things, none of this fucking matters.
And there's at least one other guy who's going through it.
Yeah.
The comedian you're listening to.
Yeah.
And you're connecting on that level as well.
Especially if it's something close to home.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
Okay, so you graduate college, you're in law school.
I don't go straight to law school.
Okay.
I
think that's pretty common.
Well, I got in.
Okay.
But I chose not to.
Okay.
I as much as I've improved how I am about my deliberateness, I'm still 20, 21 years old. So there's still inklings of me that are like slacker.
Mm-hmm.
So this time I have drafts on my personal statements.
Awesome.
But I still submit my stuff the day of the deadline.
Yeah.
But I've improved. I have drafts. I have letters of recommendation. Yep. I have good grades. So it's like I'm more organized, but just not there yet. And I get into one school. And I get it waitlisted for UC Davis and a couple other schools. But Davis was the main one that I was caring about because I did a pre-law program during undergrad with Davis called KHOP, King Hall Outreach Program, which is specifically for first-generation college students or people who don't have prior family members who are lawyers and judges who walk you through the process. Mm-hmm. I found that program through the fraternity because I had a fraternity brother who, when I entered the fraternity, he had just gotten into law school at Davis. And so I remember him, I was in the fraternity one night, he comes through and he's like in law school first year, which is the craziest year. So he literally looks at me and I tell him, I want to go to law school. He's like, do the KHOP program. And he just runs out to go back to study. Oh, wow. And from there I kind of like did the program and I fell in love with the law school. At that time, the law school had literally been rebuilt. So it expanded twice the size. So it's beautiful. It's new. It's called Martin Luther King or King Hall because it's named after Martin Luther King. So a lot of like the ambiance and a lot of the ethos of the school is like altruism and like doing public service. And so like they had that element to it. I had a connection through the program. So I really had my eyes out for that law school.
Okay.
I didn't get in. I got waitlisted. So I got into McGeorge. Not to shit on McGeorge. McGeorge is a great school. Actually,
I have friends who went there. Yeah.
My best friend went there. He's an alumni from it. McGeorge kind of runs Sacramento, if you know the legal field.
Yeah.
But at that time, I was just like, okay, I got into McGeorge, but they didn't offer me any scholarship money. Mm-hmm. So I was like, if I really want to go to law school, I can go there now and just kind of like wing it and figure it out. Or let's take a break. Apply again. Maybe I get into better schools. Maybe not. We'll find out. And so I took 2 years off. I worked for a startup law firm. I worked for the state at the courthouses. Mm-hmm. And then I also worked for Costco.
All right.
I did a little bit of everything. And then I ended up getting in my second time around. I got into McGeorge again. And this time they offered me scholarship money. Okay. Which was a plus. I was like, it was worth
full ride or partial?
Not full ride, but a good scholarship.
Enough. Yeah.
To where it was better than the first time.
Yeah.
I didn't get into Davis again. I got waitlisted, but then I got into Hastings. And I got into Hastings through the LEOP program, which was the Legal Education Opportunity Program, which is the same thing. It's kind of like King Hall, which is like first generation law students who, again, I've gotten into these programs. I benefited from them because I think that they do provide a significant service to students who really don't have any idea what they're doing in these spaces.
Yeah.
And I got in through that program, and I went to speak. They had like an open house where the director of the program specifically invited all of us to come have a conversation about law school. And I went in, and there'd be students who says, I got into Hastings and I got into this other school. And she would literally be like, go to that other school. And then, and she wouldn't be like, she was not bogarting students. She was like, you guys are all applicants and I've read all your applications. I know your guys' backgrounds. I know what you guys are capable of. I want you guys to succeed as high as you can. And so when a student who came to that open house would tell her the choices that, or he or she was facing, she would be like, well, look, this is your background. This is what you told me you're interested in your application. This is why I think this is the best fit for you.
That's great.
And sometimes it wouldn't be Hastings.
Yeah.
Sometimes it would be like, I remember there was this one student who was like, I'm debating between Berkeley and Hastings and Davis. And then the teacher was like, well, look, Berkeley's the best school as far as ranking is concerned. But you told me that you're interested in doing public service. You got to go to Davis. Yeah. Because Davis has more of a focus in that, and you're going to have a much better time making your network out there into that space. So I think you got to go out there. Like, I remember that specifically. I was like, that's a badass director.
Totally.
So it sold me. That experience sold me on Hastings.
Okay.
And I ended up going there for my first year.
Gotcha.
Interesting enough, that director no longer works there. I think she retired. But when we got there, she told us, this is a sinking ship. Get the fuck out.
Wow.
She told us.
I love that.
Well, she's like, when you were applying and you were debating I was going to give you the best option. But if Hastings was your best option, come here. And now that you're here, get the fuck out and go to a better school.
Yeah.
And she's like, and she did her best to prepare us. Like, I want to say the LEOP students, not all of us, but there was a few of like the highest achieving students in LEOP in our first year because of her preparation, because of her, like, it was a legit like commitment, dude. Like the LEOP program, it's not like you just show up and you take a couple seminars. Like, no, it's like they were gun ho. The way she ran it, it was military style. Like, you had X amount of time. You got to be doing this. You got to be doing that. I remember one time I ran into her at like 7 a.m. in school, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm printing out this thing." And she's like, "Something wrong with you. You got to go get tested." Just straight up like that. And then she just walked away. And then I ended up finding out I have ADHD.
Something wrong with you. That's hilarious. So at least in what you've shared here, she's like the third person in your educational path to like speak a direction to you. There was Julio. There was what was the name of the guy in college?
Emilio.
And then there was her.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like, I love that dynamic. Sometimes some people are perfectly positioned to speak into your life in a very helpful way, even if it's just a short conversation. And then you take that direction and it impacts the next few years of your life.
Well, I try to listen, man, because like I feel like I told you, I grew up with my grandma. So my grandma, one of the things she always told me was like, while you're walking your first round around the block, I've already did 3 trips.
Yeah.
So she's like, so I'm going to tell you something, and you can take it or you can leave it.
Yeah.
But I'm not telling you out of ignorance.
Yeah.
I'm telling you from experience.
Yeah.
And so hearing that from her and living with her, not only living it myself, but seeing that exact dynamic. Yeah. It made me much more attentive to when people are giving you knowledge. Because there are some people who will not share it just like that. Yep. But there's people who just genuinely want to succeed in a way that maybe they felt they didn't know, or they wish somebody would have told them. So anytime somebody would like try to drop some nuggets, I try picking every nugget up. Yeah. And again, I'm telling you, like I've never been that like purposeful, like I have to go a specific route kind of guy, but learning, being around those people, listening to those people, I slowly started to try to become that. Yep. Comedy, again, in law school, bringing it back to comedy. one of my best friends in college ended up becoming my Hastings best friend because we ran back into each other at Hastings and we went to law school together my first year. We would watch My Cousin Vinny. I think we were supposed to be studying for finals, and I was like, let's watch My Cousin Vinny.
I just watched it for the first time like a year ago.
It's great.
I love that movie.
Dude, that is two Utes.
Yeah.
Was it Marissa Tomei?
Yep.
She's incredible.
Very young, very hot Marissa Tomei.
Dude, the way she drops the lines about the car like details, I'm like, she sounds like a fucking expert. Dude.
Yeah.
She sold that.
Yeah. I love the ridiculous suit he comes in with. That's a really fun movie.
It's a great movie, dude. It's a great movie. The dynamics are funny. I convinced my best friend, his name is Ben. I was like, dude, fuck this test. Let's just watch My Cousin Vinny. He was like, all right. He was that. So he's a smart dude. So I'm much more of a slacker.
Okay.
In my experience, I try to be organized and I try to be that, but my instincts and my go-to is just more like just chill.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. How do we get to comedy? Because you're still in law school.
I'm still in law school. So first year of law school, end up transferring to Davis.
Yeah.
This is gonna be this is recording.
Yes.
Okay. This is gonna sound so pretentious, such a show off, but I'm just laying out the foundation. My first job, that first summer of law school, I worked for the Supreme Court of California. Awesome. Working for one of the best, I think, judges we had. I'm sure there's been more in the past, and there will be more. But like I really do think he was a great Justice Cuellar, Mariano Florentino Cuellar. He's a immigrant. He is a PhD. He went to Harvard. He went to Stanford. He went to law school for Yale, or he went to Yale for law school.
Wow.
This man is a decorated, like, educator. Like he's taught law school. He's taught college. He was running. He becomes a justice. Just so happens that while he's there, I get wind of that while I'm trying to figure out what to do my first year. I end up having the great opportunity to work for him and work for his office.
You clerked for him?
I clerked for him my first summer of law school.
Do most first year law students clerk?
No.
I didn't think so.
No. And not at that level.
Yeah. That's amazing. How did you get that?
So Emilio, who's still in my life to this day, he's like a best friend now. But at the time, I saw him more of a mentor, and he kind of guided me through law school. But at the time, I told him, Emilio, I don't know what to do. I'm kind of interested. I've heard some students clerk for judges. Mm-hmm. Kind of sounds interesting. I'd rather do that than work at a firm. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, if you're interested in judges, you should hit up the dean of the law school at Davis. This is still while I'm at Hastings.
Yeah. Who
ran the KHOP program. And I go, why do I hit him up? He's like, well, he has connections with the justice. You should just message him and let him know. And if he reciprocates, he might tell you what to do next. Mm-hmm. So then I hit up the dean of the law school at Davis and I go, hey, I'm at Hastings. But I don't know if you remember me. I was part of the KHOP program. Okay. I'm interested right now. I'm considering applying to clerk for a judge. Is there any leads or anything you would recommend as far as going about that? And he goes, this is Dean Kevin Johnson, also a first generation Latino, dean of the law school at Davis. Not anymore, but I who was at the time. He responds, oh, you want to work for a judge? How about Justice Mariano Florentino Cuellar at the Supreme Court? And I go, okay.
Wow.
So then he goes, send your resume, send your writing sample to this person who was like the head clerk for the justice, and then they'll let you know. Yeah. And so I send out my application to the clerk. The clerk goes, we can come interview you for this particular day, and then it's up to the justice if you get picked. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I'm just like, okay, they've essentially given me the door. I just got to not shit the bed on the interview. Yeah. So
just have to nail the interview.
Yeah. So what?
No big deal.
So this is where I start leaning more into who I am, which is like I start becoming much more observant about stuff, and I'm just like, okay, if I want to interview, like I don't know how I got to stand out with this guy, but But how much do I know about this guy? At this point, I just know he's a justice. I know he's a Latino.
So you started getting strategic. You started doing the research.
I'm like, how do I start being that kind?
Mhm.
So I literally Google this justice, and I told him this in the interview, but I watched every single speech he's ever had online.
Mhm.
I read every single article that he's commented on or he's written on, and I just kind of try to get a feel for his background, feel for who he is. That's how I learned about all his accomplishments.
Okay.
And I go into the interview, and he goes, "Why do you want to clerk for me?" The one question that everybody always hates at an interview.
Yep. And it's the one question you can expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, well, look, I'll be honest with you. I've read everything. I've watched everything. And there's two things that stood out to me that I think I really valued from what I watched and what I read. And that these are the reasons why. One, every time you make a speech, every time you get up and you speak as a justice or as a lawyer in a professional capacity, you always talk about your family. Always. You always talk about your family. And I feel like that for me comes close to heart, because I feel like as a Latino, we can't help but think of us as a group. Mm-hmm. You think about the unit. You don't think about yourself as an individual. You think yourself as a unit, because that's your family. That's who you rise together.
Yeah.
And so I noticed that. The second thing I noticed, you always open up with a joke. You always open up with a joke. And I think that's hilarious. And I love comedy.
Awesome.
And I really enjoy that about you. And I think that response is what won me the interview, because I had same best friend who I went through law school with. He interviewed a year later with that same justice. He did not get the job. Yeah. He ended up working for another justice in the same court, but I think that answer that I gave him just really like clicked with him, and he gave me the opportunity.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a story. It feels a little bit like there was an aspect of right place, right time when you emailed the dean.
Yeah.
Not to say that you weren't an impressive student, but then if you hadn't have done that research prior to the interview, who knows?
I don't know, but and this is when I start to realize, like, I'm observant. I like seeing those details. I don't know how many people see those details, but like,
yeah,
I noticed that, and so I was like, that's really because if you take those two things away that I've noticed, you're just like any other justice,
right?
And it's like that's what makes it hard to answer that question.
Yeah,
is that what is it specifically about you that I like? And it's like those are the two things.
So being observant definitely plays into comedy.
Yeah.
When did you try comedy while you were in law school?
No. So what happens is I struggled in that position.
Okay.
I struggle mentally and I struggle physically. Like I'm not at the par for what a lot of the other students I think are,
sure, as
far as like skill level.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I also struggle mentally because I just don't enjoy it. We're literally in front of a computer 8+ hours a day, reading and writing, and I'm just like, this is boring.
So when you say you struggled mentally, what did that look like?
It just meant like going back to how I was, which is like doing stuff by the deadline, last minute things. It's like unsure of my work. Like I really, part of my struggle with law school has always been that, because I struggled, but part of it has always been like, there is no right answer. Mm-hmm. And I always felt like maybe with law, like there is a right answer. You just got to find the right law that tells you the answer, or the right case that tells you the answer. But ultimately what I found out is there is no right answer. It's all about argument, right?
Yeah.
Any answer is the right answer if you have the strongest argument.
Yeah.
So part of that, that was kind of like like that sucks, because I was hoping that there would be a right answer, and judges are just a person to like, oh, this is the right answer, determine it based on what they find. But it's more or less like who's more convincing, who has the strongest argument. And then the other side of it it's just very dry.
Yeah.
It's very dry. It's very mundane. It's in the minutia, especially at that level of law. Mm-hmm. It's very much the minutia. And as much as I can see it and I can find it, my head's always like, but what about this? But what about that? All these, and at some point you gotta just make that call that's like none of that other stuff matters.
So that's very interesting. You didn't like that there wasn't a right answer.
Yeah.
Did you bristle at that because it feels like relativist? Like it's morally relative?
For sure.
Yeah.
The morality comes into play where that's where I kind of felt the nihilism. You
Yeah.
know, like
you didn't like that.
Well, I didn't mind that. I can deal with it being that way. I just don't want to be a part of that.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can deal with something being morally relevant. I can deal with it being that there is no right answer. There is no answer.
Yeah.
I can deal with all that.
Yeah.
I didn't like the idea of me being the arbiter
Yeah.
of where those lines are drawn.
Did you grow up religious?
I grew up around religion.
Okay. But not like going to church every Sunday or
we Catholic, grew up Catholic. We went to church mostly every Sunday in Mexico.
Okay.
But then when I got older and I moved out here, my mom and dad didn't really have time for church, so we didn't go to church very often. We did go every once in a while. We had Mormons come and speak to us, read about the Bibles. My aunt ended up changing her religion to a different branch of religion, so I got exposed to a different branch of Christianity. My best friend in high school was Pentecostal, so I got exposed to that kind of Christian branch. So it's
so you had that foundation of
right and wrong,
morality and ethics and understanding, a black and white understanding of right and wrong.
Yeah.
I very much did too. I grew up very religious. Are you still religious?
No, I'm atheist.
Atheist. Okay. All right. Yeah. I almost went to law school.
Okay.
I was studying for the LSAT. I took a few practice tests, and I had also been working in politics.
I remember you told me.
Running campaigns. I ran for office a couple times. I worked in the state capitol. My dad is also a lawyer.
Oh, okay.
And ultimately, it was like, I'm so glad I decided not to go to law school, because I would have hated it. Because there just didn't feel like there was a lot of room for creativity. Of course,
creative arguments.
Yes. Yeah. I was a political science major, and what I loved about being a political science major was not that I could bullshit my way through it, but that as long as I had a well-reasoned and researched argument, I was going to get a good grade.
Yeah.
There wasn't a right answer I had to know. It was I could come up with a cogent argument about whatever it is, and I loved that. I was also big into debate in high school and college.
Oh, nice.
But with the legal system, going back to the relativism of it all, it seems like that sort of relativism is built into the system, because our system only works if both sides are making their strongest argument.
Yeah.
They don't need to make the most moral argument.
No.
That's not what the system relies on.
And it's not really about that either.
Right.
Morality goes out the window because it's the black letter of the law that rules the day, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
If there isn't black letter, then it's the case law.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So how do we get to comedy?
So after that experience, because in my head, I have like an existential crisis, because it's like I'm doing law at the highest level.
Right.
I'm like literally, some people are just like, I wish I had those kinds of
You were
opportunities.
thrown into the deep end as a first year.
Well, no. I'm not talking about the position itself. I'm just talking about like think about it, like any other law student would be killing to have the opportunities that I had. Mm-hmm. But I'm hating it. And I'm like, but I'm doing it at the highest level. So it's like, what the hell am I doing here?
And it's the thing that you were always going to do, that your mom said, be a
this
doctor
is the
or a
thing.
lawyer.
This is the goal. This was the goal.
The last 12, 15 years of your life, like, I'm going to do that thing, and now you're doing that thing and you hate it.
And I hate it.
How did that crisis express itself in your mind? Was it anxiety, depression?
I think it was depression.
Yeah.
I think it was depression, but I deal with depression very differently than most people. At least that's what my girlfriend tells me.
Okay. How do you deal with depression?
I do something.
That sounds so ominous. What do you do?
I did whatever I'm feeling. I do something about it. Whatever I need to do something. I don't sit in depression.
I see.
I feel depression, but when I notice that I'm feeling, so the way it manifests with me is insomnia. So when I'm feeling depressed, the first thing that goes is my sleep.
Yeah.
Because my mind is like rolling around these like thoughts, and it prevents me from sleeping. So like my first sign of depression is insomnia, and once insomnia kicks in, then it starts affecting everything else because then you don't sleep right, then you don't get enough rest, you can't think straight. So then once it starts affecting all that other stuff, I'm just like, I need to do something to kill the insomnia to let me be productive in whatever I'm trying to do. So when I had that existential crisis, I started feeling depressed. So at this point, I'm like, this is what, 2017. I've been with my girl at this point for like 8 years.
Okay.
And Lupita, she's like my rock, dude. She's my focus. She keeps me balanced. She's a much better person than I am. She's much funnier than I am. She's a much humbler person. Hardworking, everything that's like the worst of me, she's the best of.
What's her name?
Lupita, Guadalupe, but she goes by Lupita. Yeah.
Lupita, I think it sounds like you could do a lot better.
Shh, don't tell her that. She's too far.
That's
in.
awesome. That's great.
But so I'm telling her, I'm having these feelings, I'm having these thoughts, and I think my first year, I'm just like, because I go into law school and I'm like, I'm gonna be a badass lawyer. I'm gonna go work at the biggest firm and I'm gonna make the most money and I'm gonna do this. That was going into law school. My first year of law school, I'm just like, I don't know if I want to work at a firm forever. Maybe I want to open up my own firm, work for myself. After that experience at the court, I'm just like, I don't know if I want to be a lawyer. Because what I've realized is no matter where you go, subject matter wise, it's all the same work.
Yeah.
It's all the same concepts. It's the same setting. It's not really going to change. But I'm like, maybe there's I'm still hopeful.
Sure.
At the end of that first year, I'm still hopeful. I'm like, let me try different stuff. So I start to question it that first year and I tell her these experiences. She's like, well, try something different. Maybe you enjoy something else. I transferred to Davis. So I'm like, maybe it's a different setting. Hastings, not going to lie, was a little cutthroat.
Okay.
Not cutthroat as far as like I couldn't make good connections with folks. I did some of my best friends I still keep in touch with are from Hastings. Like I said, I was very fortunate that my best friend in college ended up being my first year best friend in law school.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of opportunities where it's just like, this is an ideal situation. But there's still an element of competitiveness. Maybe it comes from like the fact that it's not a top achieving school and people want those top achieving jobs.
Sure.
So they're like, they look at you as competition and people can...
Because it's not one of the highest ranked schools, so you have to be top in the class to stand out.
Yeah. And then also like first year of law school is just stressful in general. So I feel like that stress adds to that competitiveness, even when you don't want it to.
Yeah.
So like, I think people who I would normally like not have any issues with at all in a real world setting, like we were just maybe just like at odds with each other because I'm not a competitive person. I've never competed. I'm always out to like, where am I going to be? I don't care about you.
Yep.
But that's the law school environment is a competition.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe if I change schools, maybe that'll change it. Change to Davis, still kind of feeling the same. Maybe if I change, maybe this year I won't clerk for a judge. Maybe I'll go clerk somewhere else. I get into Alameda District Attorney's Office.
Okay.
Which, again, not trying to be presumptuous or show off, but one of the best law clerk programs in the state allows you to run a trial as a law student.
That's amazing.
So I got to run a DUI trial as a district attorney, and I got a guilty verdict. Only one that summer. That's a show off thing.
Hell yeah.
Didn't get the job.
Got the guilty verdict, didn't get the job.
Got the only guilty verdict that summer, didn't get the job because I didn't fit in.
When you say run the trial, are you the one arguing in court or are you?
I'm making opening statements.
Yeah.
I'm interviewing witnesses. I'm presenting evidence. I'm closing the statements. I'm selecting the jury. I selected my jury.
Wow.
Yeah. It's one of the best programs.
You're obviously not in there by yourself. You've got co-counsel at the table with you.
They assign you an attorney, a licensed attorney, and they kind of run like, if you need questions there, but other than if you have a question or if you're really like doing something wrong, they don't step in. They let you run that.
That's
baby.
incredible.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. Like I told you, man, I got to pick my own jury. I got to do jury. I got to voir dire, I think is what they call.
So like arguably that's one of the most exciting things to be able to do
Completely
as a
different.
lawyer is run a trial. Even still, you were like, this isn't for me.
I worked my ass off that week that I ran that trial, dude. I was
Yeah.
literally like, I was waking up at 3 a.m, preparing until 7, commuting until 8,
Yep.
preparing until court,
You
being
were
in
living
court
and breathing it.
I was doing it, and I was working my, like, when I tell you that like law school changed me from like being a slacker to like actually trying.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking tried.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking tried hard in law school, and I got these opportunities that were amazing. So I tried to make the best of them. You know, I was like, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna go gung ho. But it just, I didn't fit in culturally.
Mm-hmm.
The district attorney just wasn't for me. Like.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's more personal stories I could tell you off of camera that I could tell you why I didn't fit in, but it wasn't. I could told you before, I'm not a competitive person.
Yeah,
there's a competitive element at the district court.
Yeah,
both the defense and the prosecutors. Like when I tell you that after my trial, I turned to my like opposing counsel, and I just told her, hey, it was great working by your side. It was a pleasure meeting you. And I went to go shake her hand, and she was thrown off. Like, that's how competitive it is in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Where she was just like, who the hell does this?
Yeah. I didn't. That's one of the reasons I chose not to go into law, was the competitive nature of it never ends. It does, like, even at a firm practicing the most SOT, like my dad is an employee benefits lawyer.
Oh, defense or prosecution? Or I guess a client.
They have clients. They work with businesses to be in compliance with the IRS with their employee benefits and ESOP plans.
So defense side.
Yeah. Defense side, I guess, technically. But they are intermediaries between their clients and the IRS. Yeah. It's very boring. But even in that environment, your hours are all still tracked. You got to hit a certain amount of billable hours.
Billables, man.
And the people who get promoted are the guys who put in overtime, you know, and who bring in new clients, and it's like
the rainmakers.
And so I chose not to go into law because of the competitive nature, and then I promptly did 10 years in sales, which is just as cutthroat. But yeah, we all make our choices. Okay, so you're mid-existential crisis.
Yeah, and I'm trying different stuff, and it's not working. And so at the end of that second year, I tell my girlfriend, I'm like, look, I am not having a good time. I've tried different things at this point. I've changed schools. I have good friends. I have connections where it's like I have people grounding me. It's not the social. It's not the I don't have support. It's I just don't enjoy this.
Yeah.
Most people would feel like when they struggle, it's like maybe they feel alone, and then that loneliness is kind of what pushes them away. I didn't have loneliness. I had people. I did not like what I was doing, and I didn't like the environments. And so I told my girlfriend, I was like, I think I want to drop out. I think I want to quit. And again, Lupita, all the praise to her. She was like, I know you're kind of going off the deep end. And I was like, you're stressing out. You are obviously not sleeping.
Yeah.
Why don't you take a leave of absence?
Yeah.
I was like, the programs, you never took one in college, but like they allow you to go away, get some peace of mind, and then come back when you're ready. Why don't you look into that?
Yeah.
And so I was like, you're right. So I contacted the school and I said, hey, this is beginning of my third year. I was like, the semester has 16 weeks. I think I was like week 6. And I told them, I was like, hey, I think I want to take a leave of absence. And they were like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. They're like, it's your last year. You're almost, this is technically, quote unquote, the easier year.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I've had my fill. I need a break.
Okay.
And so they go, okay, sign the paperwork. And I signed the paperwork week 7, submit it, and I signed it for a year. So with the goal of coming back in the fall. I didn't have a job. I didn't have any savings. But I was like, let me just see how I'm feeling. Weeks pass by. I'm not doing anything law related. I'm like, okay, what if I'm not going to do this? What the hell am I going to do? What do I actually enjoy? And the only answer that kept coming up in my head was comedy. Wow. Comedy is the only thing I've ever enjoyed that has kept me sane throughout high school, college, and law school. this is the only thing that I actually feel from me that I'm interested in. I don't know if I'm good at it. I don't know if I'm good. I have a terrifying fear that I'm not, but I'm interested.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do. Everything else up until this point I felt like I needed to do. And this is the first thing that I feel like I really just want to do.
It's the first thing you chose for yourself.
So I go, okay, that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
I have a direction. I know that I don't want anything to do with this, but
how old were you when you took this leave?
I was 26.
Okay.
I was 26. No. 25. 26 is when I started. Dude, the years fucking mess with me. I started law school in 2015, transferred in so that was 25. I transferred.
You were born in 90?
I was born in 90.
Same.
Okay. Yeah. I'm like 27 going on 28.
Okay.
Because at the end of the second year, beginning of the third year. Yeah. 27 going on 28.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I take the leave. I have a direction now. I want to do comedy, but because I'm a first year, because I'm a first generation, all I've been doing is taking out fucking loans for law school.
Yeah.
Because I got some scholarship money.
Yeah.
But it doesn't cover everything. It's not a full ride. So it's like, if I drop out now, I have all this debt and nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
So just logically, I'm just like, I got to finish so I could at least have the degree. So even though I might not be exerting it, I have something to show for all the debt.
Yeah.
So I go, okay, I know I don't want to do law. I want to do comedy, but I need to finish law school. So I go, let's just expedite that. And so I contacted the school and I said, hey, forget next fall. I want to start in the spring. I want to come back in January.
Okay.
And I just want to finish halfway through the year and finish in the fall next year. And they go, you can't come back. Yeah.
Period?
Yeah. Well, I go, what? And they go, you have an outstanding debt that you have to pay before you come back. I'm like, what do you mean outstanding debt? And they go, yeah, you owe us for half of the semester. And I'm like, no one told me any of this. Why do I owe? It's like, well, it turns out that if you had waited till past halfway point, you wouldn't have to pay anything back. But because you left before the midpoint, you have to pay half of the semester back. And I go,
that's
how long
bullshit.
did I miss the midpoint by? And they're like, 1 week.
Oh,
I was
my
like,
God.
no one told me this. No one, dude, it was, I was
insane.
so mad.
Yeah.
By 1 week, I need to pay back, I think it was like $4,000. And I go, okay, well, can I do a payment plan? I'll just start working now while I'm in school and I'll start paying it back and I'll just finish. At this point, I just want to get out of here. And this news is not making me want to stay. So I'm just like, can I get on a payment plan to finish this off as soon as possible? And they go, no. You don't understand. You can't come back until it's paid off.
That's insane.
So then I'm like, at this point, I'm just like, what the fuck? This is December. I'm stressing out. I don't have a job. I don't have any savings. I'm not going to get financial aid because apparently I can't come back.
Right.
And then I owe like $4,000.
Yeah. And
to add insult to injury, because I'm thinking about all this shit, I ended up crashing my car.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hit, it wasn't a bad accident, but I rear-ended somebody and my radiator punctured. And so my car is kaput.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have money to fix that. So now I don't have a car. I don't have a job. I don't have any money. I don't have any savings. I'm just like, what the fuck? So I write a letter to the dean. And I'm like, look, Dean, I don't know how much you say you have on this, but I'm just trying to get a payment plan. Let me just finish. If I could finish this, I can get a better paying job that'll help me pay that off faster. But right now, all I have is a college degree and like 2 years of law school. No one's going to hire me as a lawyer. I'm going to be able to get, at the time, it was like a little bit above minimum wage, but I don't have a car. Yeah. So I can't be, it was like, I just need some assistance.
Yep.
The dean goes, look, this is December. It's too late for next semester. We can't do anything about bringing you back this next semester. All I can say is try to get a job, pay down as much as you can for the $4,000, and then reach out to me in the summer about fall. That's all he said. I go, okay. Well, I tried that. I tried that avenue. I felt like, so I'm like, the only other avenue is work hard.
Yep.
So I got a job becoming a substitute teacher, teaching a local program in Davis that teaches Spanish to younger elementary school kids because I speak Spanish. I'm like, I don't need experience for that. I speak Spanish.
Yep.
So I got hired as that, and I started doing that, but that was like 4 hours a week. So I'm like, okay, I got something coming. And then I ended up getting a job working a movie theater. So then I'm working a movie theater job at local Davis. I was working at the Regal movie theater, pays minimum wage. I'm like, fuck it, I just need something.
Yep.
So then I'm working in the mornings at 7 a.m. I'm working at the sub, and then in the evenings I'm working at the movie theaters. And then I'm kind of starting to at least pay rent, pay bills. I still haven't touched the debt, but I'm just like, I got to get stable first.
Yeah.
Then I ended up getting a job with the county, working for CPS. Not my favorite position, but I was like, I got to get something. So then I'm working early mornings. I'm working the sub. During the day, I'm working for the county. During the evenings, I'm working at the movie theaters.
Yeah.
And that's when I start to pay down the debt. And I don't have a car at this time, so I'm riding the bus.
Oh my God.
To Woodland and back. And
you still haven't tried comedy?
No. But in my head, I'm just like, I'm gonna fucking do comedy
that's
after
what
this
you're working
shit.
towards. Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm like in my head, I want to do comedy, but I don't have time for it.
Yep.
I get back. I start applying to more jobs. I hear down the grapevine that there's a job with SMUD for law clerks. So you're a student.
Okay.
But you're getting paid. First time ever, I'm like, I got to get that fucking job.
Yeah.
So I get that job as a law clerk. That job as a law clerk for SMUD pays more than all three of the other jobs combined.
And what did it pay? 60?
No, it paid a stipend.
Okay.
It wasn't even hourly. It was a stipend. So I think I was getting like maybe $2,000 a month.
So they weren't taking taxes out either.
They were taking retirement.
They were taking retirement.
They were taking retirement. And I don't think I made too much on taxes for me to worry about it. I was more mad about the retirement stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, son of a bitch. Anyway, I'm making money on that. And then I quit the other jobs because time conflicts.
Yep.
And then because of that, I start paying. I think I paid down like $3,000 within this between January and July. I paid back like $3,000.
Okay.
And I contacted the school and I said, look, I paid most of it. Can I come back? Work with me, something.
Yeah.
And the dean referred me to the financial aid office, and they were like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take away this debt, but we're going to increase your loans during the school year. So we're going to throw it in as part of
transfer it in.
Just transfer it. But she's like, you're going to be able to come back. I said, I'm going to come back. I said,
where was this solution 6 months ago?
I think it was just too last minute. It was during the holidays. Okay. Like people aren't working. Like it was bad timing.
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck it. Let's do it. I just want to get the fuck out of law school.
Yep.
And so I come back, and that whole year, dude, my mantra to the chagrin of my peers is just like, fuck law school, fuck the bar. I'm just here to get my fucking degree and get the fuck out, dude. While everybody's like worried about the bar and stressing, I'm just like, I'm not taking that shit.
What were your grades like in that last year?
They were the same. I graduated.
You still worked hard.
Yeah. I mean, I still had to pass classes.
Yeah.
I graduated with like a 3.2.
Okay.
But I also was more strategic. So one of my semesters I ended up clerking for a judge because I got units for clerking and I didn't have to worry about like assignments.
Yep.
So I did that and I got units for clerking, and that was like a whole semester's worth.
Yep.
So I didn't have to study for a semester, and I'm just like, I just want to accrue credits to get out.
Yeah. And
so my last year, I'm just like, while everybody's stressing about the bar, I'm just like, as soon as they give me that degree, peace.
Yeah.
And still in the back of my head, I'm like, I want to do comedy. I want comedy. I was starting to look into Comedy Spot because I was like, I don't know where to start. I was like, I heard Comedy Spot has classes. Maybe I'll take a class.
Yep. Like
there was another student who had told me about it, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll do that. But what happened is I didn't have money for the classes.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I can't do that. I ended up graduating. As soon as I'm graduating, I'm like, I'm done with law.
You graduate and you're 27, 28?
Yeah. 28.
Okay.
2000. Oh, no. 28 going on 2029. Because I graduated 2019.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm turning 29 that summer.
Okay.
But I'm
so
28.
you graduate.
Yeah. And I go, okay, it's time to do comedy. I can't afford the classes. I find out that there's a comedy club at the undergrad campus at Davis called Stuck, stand-up comedy club.
All right.
And so I ended up going to that. That was my first foray into comedy,
Yeah.
was going to the stand-up comedy club at Davis. I bomb. They do like the way they handled it is they don't have open mics, but they have like auditions for shows where it's like you perform in front of the club members, and if the club members approve your set, then you can perform at one of their showcases.
Whoa.
So, and the showcase at that time, Stuck was like operating on all cylinders, dude. Like one of the guys running it, Will Alpers, who's a good friend, I met while working at the movie theater.
Okay.
While he was in high school.
Okay.
So this is like 2 years later. Now he's in college at Davis, and he's running the Stuck Club. And I run into him. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "What?" And
that's cool.
It's like, I'm trying to do comedy. He's like, "I love comedy." So he's making that club a lot better than you would think. Like their showcases are in the lecture halls with like 300 students.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
And so I'm like, how do I get one of those? And they're like, well, you got to come show us what you got.
That's terrifying as a newbie.
My first show was October 2019.
Okay.
Halloween show.
Roughly 6 months before the world shuts down.
Yeah. And that's my first showcase, like in front of a show. And
wow.
And I do my jokes. Looking back, it's all cringe.
Yeah. Do you remember any of them?
I do remember. I did like a jizz sheets. Like I was a ghost. Like I talk about growing up in Mexico. I think I do a pronoun joke where it's like my pronouns are a piece of shit and motherfucker. Very much of the time.
Yeah.
But like I said,
But you still talk about family stuff.
Yeah. I start talking.
I'm sure that your jokes now have some evolution that you can track from that first set.
I don't do any of those jokes specifically because it was Halloween oriented.
Oh, okay.
But I mean the inklings of like talking about my experience with my family and stuff is there.
Yeah.
And it goes great. I thought I was gonna bomb. I was like, I'm a comic.
You 5 minutes?
5 minutes, dude. 5 minutes in front of 300 people and murder.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm the shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is nothing. All those podcasts that are talking about bombing and stuff. What are they? Novices. What are they?
Yeah, that's awesome.
But then I quickly realized like that the Stuck environment is not what the podcast and real life comedy is. And I'm just like, and I get that inkling when I do a joke with them, like the world shuts down.
Mm-hmm.
I think I do 2 showcases with them and then the world shuts down, but they're still meeting up on Zoom. Mm-hmm. So I'm still meeting with them. And that's actually how I met David Rodriguez.
Oh, really?
On Zoom.
Yeah, because he was in college.
Guy. He was in Davis and he was part of Stuck and we met through Zoom. And they would tell me, oh, there's this new guy who's really into comedy and you might run into him if you're going to be going out and about, but this is a little bit later. But because I stopped going to the clubs, the club meetings on Zoom, because I did this joke where I'm just like, I have this joke I'm working on, we're workshopping stuff, and I go, hey, I know we're not supposed to be slut shaming, but what if you just want to slut acknowledge? and I just, that's the joke, that's the premise of the joke.
Yeah.
And then I have college students going, I don't know if you should say the word slut.
Sure.
And I'm just like, all right, you know what? I love you guys. This is an amazing foray into stand-up, but I think you guys are very special.
I don't know if you should say the word slut, but I love sluts.
I was just trying to be supportive, man.
You're talking to the guy who chose his undergrad based on the sexual health of the student body.
Yeah, they weren't having it. So I stopped showing up to those. And that's when David starts showing up. Mm-hmm. And so by the time I come back around and I go, I'll come to a meeting, that's when I was told, there's this newer guy. He's into it. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to start going out. And this is 2021.
Okay.
And I'm going to start, I hear inklings of like places starting to open up. I find out that there's a mic in West Sacramento. Let me just go to it. Vince's.
Hell yeah.
That was my first open mic. My first real open
All right.
mic is Vince's.
Yeah.
On Friday nights outside in the cold.
That's awesome.
Have you ever got to experience that?
No.
That was the first
I
four.
didn't experience any COVID comedy anything because I started a year and a half ago.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I met David there. There's so many comics that aren't doing comedy anymore that I met there.
Yeah.
There's some people who are still doing comedy there. Danny Luna has been there since day one, dude.
Yeah.
He's been running that shit. Always appreciative of him putting on that space. And I heard that it was passed down from Wendy Lewis. So even props to her for setting it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vince's is the first foray into comedy. I meet David Rodriguez there for the first time. And we kind of like, we're sizing each other up. Like, how serious are you about comedy? I'm like, I'm pretty fucking serious. Are you serious?
Yeah.
And we just connect and we start writing the mics together and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So David's my ride or die guy. We're buddies from day one, I think.
So Vince's was your first like open mic in the wild.
Yeah.
And then people got you connected with the Facebook group and
yeah. Well, I think it was me. It's like if I'm going to go gun ho, if I'm gonna go into comedy, I'm gonna go all in.
Yeah.
I'm all in from day one. There's no options.
Yeah.
I've done everything else. I'm gonna go all in.
That's how I feel too. That's how I approach everything really. I'm in or I'm out.
I only ever had one other thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I start hey, where are the other mics? Start going to the mics and asking people and somebody tells me about the Facebook group. I start looking at the list. We start going to On the Y. Have you ever been on the Y?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
David gets kicked out from On the Y when my first times ever go.
How does David get kicked out from a mic?
So David at this point has been going out a little bit longer into the sax scene than I have.
Okay.
And I go, David, I heard there's On the Y. Let's go. And he goes, oh, I don't know if I should go there. And I'm like, why? What's up? He's like, well, I kind of went in there the other day. And David's like 19 years old at this time. And he goes, and I told him, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. I'm 19 years old. It's a bar. Yeah. I'm like, David, why would you announce
that? He got kicked out just because he's underage.
Yeah. But he's announcing that he's underage.
Yeah,
he's
that's
like,
hilarious.
So he's like, so the owner talked to me and I don't know if I should go there. And I go, well, let's just see. Maybe just don't draw attention to yourself.
Yeah.
And see what happens. And so we go, and the owner's drunk. Mm-hmm. Like he's having a great time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And David signs up, and he doesn't say anything.
Yeah. And
David gets off, and he's like, "Great." I was like, I thought I was gonna get in trouble. So he's like, "See, just don't make a big deal about stuff. You're just there for comedy. You're not trying to drink or anything."
Yep.
And we go there again the next week when the owner's sober, because we think he's cool.
You think it's good.
Yeah. Kicks him out and me. Don't you ever come in here. You're gonna put my licenses at jeopardy. How dare you come here? And
Which is fair.
Oh yeah,
he's right.
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. 100%. We were in the wrong. Yep. But it's just funny.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we start doing those. We start going out to Chico. I'm telling you, David and I were right. I'm like, David, you're not down for Chico. And he's like, let's do it. And we would drive out to Chico for a mic on a Thursday.
Yeah.
We would drive down to the Bay for mics.
Yeah.
We went down to San Francisco. We would go down. I think the farthest we ever went down to was maybe San Jose even.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. But we just started making like a round of like Yuba City, Steel Cafe, and because they were a clean mic, so it's like now you got to be clean out there,
right?
So we're just consistently going out and getting up as much as we can.
Yeah, shout out David Rodriguez. I was supposed to interview him a couple weeks ago, but he's such a big shot now. He had to go.
David's doing
perform
it
at some bullshit room. I think it was an improv down south.
Ontario
Improv.
David's doing it, man. He's on the road, dude. He's doing this big. I always tell him, I was like, you fucking get it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's blowing up too on social media.
I've been watching that. Yeah, with the shorts he's doing about his
hood rats.
His hood friends, his girlfriend from the hood. I think he's gained almost 35,000 followers since
Good for him, dude.
August.
I told him, I was like, you're doing it. Don't fucking let up, man.
Yeah.
If it's getting momentum, fucking carry that momentum through as far as it'll take you.
Yeah. You can't let your foot off the gas.
Yeah, no, especially if it's going well.
Yeah.
I'm like, and there's another shout out to Shaheen. Have you seen Shaheen's video?
Oh, amazing video. The Mamdani
Parody
rap
song?
video. Love
Yeah.
it. And it blew up.
Dude, he's
Immediately.
almost at 1 million.
Yeah. Incredible.
He's almost. I told him, I was like, dude, you're gonna get to a fucking million. Dude.
I should have Shaheen on the podcast too.
Dude, he's a great dude too.
Yeah.
He's another great dude. He's another ride or die guy.
Yeah.
I bonded with him over video games because him and I are both
Okay.
video game nerds.
Nice. We're already at an hour and a half.
I'm good.
crazy.
I'm whatever your time is, man.
I just had
lawyers can talk forever.
for sure. I want to kind of change gears a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a good question to do that with. I've been asking this of everyone I've interviewed. What's something about you, like maybe something about your character, an aspect of your character that people don't necessarily see or you don't necessarily show in the comedy scene that you wish more people knew?
That I wish more people knew?
Yeah. Because we present ourselves as comedians, not that we're thinking about how we present ourselves, but for me, hanging out after an open mic or a show, conversations can be fairly one-dimensional, and which is great. I love talking comedy. I love talking shop. Very much enjoy that, but it's hard to really get to know people on a deeper level or even a broader level outside of comedy in that environment.
Yeah, because every other word you say when you try to get real, somebody turns into a joke.
Exactly, which can be fun, but I also enjoy conversations like this where I feel like over the last hour and a half I've really gotten to know you better.
To your dismay, sir. You're gonna regret that.
And that's what I want this podcast to be. I'd love for, and I think I messaged you this, like, I'd love for people watching it in the scene to feel like they got to know you better if they got an hour and a half in and listened to this whole thing. And
none of us have that attention span. They're gonna be 30 minutes and he's like, he's still talking about Mexico. Listen to that.
Yeah. But I've been asking that question. It's been interesting. Do you?
So what was it again?
What's an aspect of your character that you wish more people saw, or maybe not that you wish more people saw, but that they don't see just because of the one-dimensional aspect of how we hang out as comics?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe something people don't see is just like, I don't know. Well, like today, when I called you because I was running late, and you were like, "I'm glad to hear that you sleep in until noon." I'm a human being, dude. I make mistakes too. I think all comics. I think that's part of what I feel like I do fit in sometimes. Is like none of us are pretending to be perfect. None of us are perfect. We all have faults. We all have things that don't make us fit into real world, like environments. So it's like sometimes I at least when I first started, I feel like people didn't see that. Like I try to be open as much as I can so people can see really who I am. But maybe when I first started, people were just like I remember having an interaction with somebody who was just like, oh, because I when I started comedy, I would wear a blazer. They're like, you're wearing a blazer? You're not a fucking real comic. You're just just putting on a show. I was like, no, dude, like I'm in. I'm just as flawed. As much as like the exterior might seem like maybe he's a little put together, it's like it's a glass fucking body, dude. One little tap cracks everything.
Yeah. For context, Angel and I were supposed to start recording this at noon. I messaged him at 12:07.
Yeah.
And you called me immediately, and you had just woken up.
I literally had just woken up.
And I was very happy to hear that because my impression of you has been like you've got your shit together. You're organized. You're on time. You work hard.
I try to be.
Yeah.
I try to be, but it's aspirational.
Yeah.
The nucleus is much less put together.
Yeah. One thing that comedy has helped me open up with is it's helped me shed all of the masks that I tend to wear. And I think we might have some of these in common. Like we're both oldest siblings. We both took life very seriously into our mid to late 20s. Like I was I went to college, was in politics, was going to go to law school, considered getting a PhD, work.
It's very similar path.
Dude, very similar path. And there was a period in my life, and this is where I'm going to sound pretentious, where I was like, I'm going to run for president of the United States one day. And like I was taking my life that seriously. And when you take things that seriously, you hide a lot of the aspects of just being a normal person.
Well, those environments
because you have to project a certain image.
Yeah.
And especially running for office, like you have to be so careful about what you say and how you say it and your interactions in public. And so I like mask a lot.
It's for sure. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I really do think it's those environments, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think that, and I think that's partly what makes it competitive too. It's like who has less shit under their table, you know?
Yeah.
It's like we all have shit.
Yeah.
Everybody does. That's how you find out politicians are like gay men who are like
right.
fucking dudes in bathrooms and stuff.
Right.
Like,
not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, but that's how you find out is because
Right.
they've been hiding it.
They're hiding it. Yeah.
Had you been open about it, California would have voted you governor years ago.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's the real world. And maybe it's just the social media world or the social like platforms is I think now, and I had this debate with somebody who was like, if you can be you at the very core and be open and accepting of that, I think more people nowadays are willing to accept that because so many of us have been masking who we are for so long. I think this next generation just wants realness. And to some extent, realness might also be a mask that people use.
Yeah.
But I think that specific mask of realness, like faking realness, I think that one cracks the easiest.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think in comedy, I kind of think people are done with, not that, like with the Anthony Jeselnik version of comedy.
Anthony. Oh, okay. Wait, in what sense?
This might be a hot take, but, and I don't mean to, like, I love Anthony Jeselnik. I think he's hilarious, but he's not vulnerable in his jokes. You know what I mean? He's not presenting who he is. He's not that guy. That's a character. And he's really good at playing that character and at providing that ugly, dark turn that you don't expect in all of his jokes. But it feels like now comedy audiences want to know you. They want to know who you are. And maybe I'm wrong because there's been guys like, you know, Mike Birbiglia is a comic who I really love.
Yeah, he's great.
And I think he's always sort of been talking about the world from his perspective, not necessarily doing jokey jokes. So that's always been there. But I do think that comedy audiences want more authenticity and vulnerability now than before.
Well, I think so. I don't disagree with you as far as like, excuse me, jokey joke versus vulnerability. I think there is a huge distinction, and those two comics, Birbiglia and Jeselnik, are very different.
Yeah.
But what I and I'm not saying I disagree. I think it's about finding your audience, right? So I think if you look at Jeselnik and you look at Birbiglia, I would say the two different generational comics. I think Jeselnik is much more like traditional mainstream, which was like you have to have a persona.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what helps you build your audience. And I think Birbiglia is much more of like this generation social media comic in the sense that like you want to see the realness. But I ultimately what I think it boils down to is have you ever read Steve Martin's Born Standing Up?
Yes, I just read it.
Yeah. So he talks about on stage, you can be whoever you want. You can be whatever character you want. You can be whatever person you want. You can be whatever excerpt of a human being that you want to be.
Yep.
And I think that plays into like all you're trying to do is connect with folks, and whoever you feel you want to be, as long as it connects with folks, you're gonna find an audience.
Yeah.
That could be the Mark Maron route, which is not mainstream and it's very obscure and it might take decades, but your audience will find you.
Yeah.
Or it could be maybe a more mainstream comic who like does only clean comedy, like Jim Jeffries. No, not Jim Jeffries. Gaffigan. Jim Gaffigan. There's a lot of Jims.
Yeah.
who only does a specific family-oriented type of comedy, maybe because that's what gives him an opportunity to take care of his family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he doesn't do other stuff too, but
Right.
um,
Yeah, that's a really good point.
yeah.
That's a good point. And I think maybe I feel that way about comedy audiences because my best jokes or my best sets have been where the material I'm doing is in alignment with who I am and my perspective.
Yeah.
And so that's what's working for me. So that might be coloring my perspective a little bit.
Well, and then something wrong with that.
Yeah.
At some point, I think you reach a level where you're like, is that the persona I want to put out there?
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, all power to you. And if it isn't, you have the will and the control to change it, right?
Yeah.
So like, I think one of the things that I was told when I was starting off as a comic is like, really listen to your set and listen to what you're saying. Listen to the messages you're getting across to audiences. And if that doesn't jive with who you want to be, then don't do that joke anymore.
Yeah.
Or if that's what you love, then keep doing it. Lean into it more.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, if you are not enjoying the joke that you're doing, people aren't going to enjoy it either.
Yeah.
You got to really, like you said, be real. If you're just faking a joke because you don't think it's funny, but you think that's what they want to hear, they're not going to connect with it.
Yeah.
But if they see you cracking up and like, and really when you enjoy a joke, you lean into it and you like sell it, they're going to be more on board because it's like, oh, this guy really feels that way.
Yeah. And that makes it easier to present the material in a way that makes it feel like it's the first time you're saying it.
Yeah.
Which is something that I've been thinking about. That's one thing I'm working on recently is like listening back to my sets or watching the video back. I want, like, we all have our set. We've done those jokes a million times, but every time you do them, the audience should be getting the impression that it's the first time you're saying it, that they're in it. At least that's what I go for.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal. I think
it's so tough.
Dude, well, when I first started, because there's different aspects of comedy, I think. And I've seen that and I've heard it from other comics, and I've also started to experience it, which is like there's the art of comedy, which I think is more speaking towards like being yourself and like finding your voice and like giving your perspective. And then there's the business of comedy, right? So like the business of comedy, if your voice is a pervert, businesses might not jive with that.
Right.
And so you got to find
be doing private gigs on islands.
You might not even. I wonder if there's any comics that went on that.
That's a good question.
I was like, are the comics the only moral people in this country?
We're fucked if that's it.
They haven't named one comic.
That's true. That's impressive.
We had Bill Cosby, which is probably the worst.
Yeah.
But there's not one that went on that island.
Yeah.
They probably were like, we don't want one of the comics because they're going to be talking about it on stage later.
True.
You guys know about this island?
Yeah.
That's probably what it was. We're seeing the snitches. That's what.
Yeah. We're seeing the snitches. Exactly.
Yeah. The comics are the snitches. That's why they don't want us there. Yeah. But no, I mean, it's completely different. The business and the art are two different things. I think as comics, we all want to just do the art.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like, and I think about this all the time because I want to, like I told you, I'm all in. I want to make my only goal since I started was to say I make a living off of telling dick jokes.
Yeah.
That's been my only goal that I'm striving for. And people are like, why you limit yourself? Why don't you want to be like a selling out stadium? And like, look, if that happens, that happens. Great.
Right. But that's not in your control.
But if I can tell my mom, Merry Christmas, I bought this gift with dick jokes.
Yeah.
That's going to bring me joy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the only thing that your goal can't be to do stadiums. It's completely out of your control. Your goal could be to support yourself with comedy.
I think you could have either or both. But for me, like I said, I was having, Michael Calvin Jr.
Yeah.
So I ran into Michael outside of Laughs like a couple weeks ago, like a week or two ago, and we were having that debate because he was just like, dude, you're limiting yourself. Ask more from the universe. Ask more from the universe, and the universe will decide what you're deserving of.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't ask, how do you know whether the universe wants you to have that? And so he was very much like, don't limit yourself. But in my head, I'm just like, it's not that I'm limiting myself. It's not that I'm not open to those bigger options and dreams and stuff. It's just that, like, really at the core of me, the little kid that giggles is just like, I bought this with dick jokes.
Yeah.
Like I had a moment a year or two ago where I did a show in SF, and then right outside the show there was like a speakeasy. And the speakeasy had like a front where it was like a gift shop, but it was like a bunch of like esoteric random things. And I was like, what's the deal here? And they're like, well, we're a front, but technically we still operate. And I'm like, what do you guys do? We do trade and barter. You trade something and you get something from anywhere you see. So I found a video game, and I was like, I don't have anything, but I tell jokes. I was like, well, just tell me a joke.
That's awesome.
And I told them a joke, and they gave me the video game. I'm like, this, and the video
Proof
game
of concept.
Yeah, I was like, this video game is worth, this video game is worth like $100. Technically, that joke is worth $100.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I was like, so for like that's like the giddiness of like, I can make a living off of stuff I come up with and just say. That is, as a person whose parents are immigrants who've always had to work for living, that for me is like insane.
Yeah.
Like, I go up and I tell strangers my random thoughts about them or about my family, and I get paid for that.
It's incredible.
That's amazing.
It's incredible.
And if I could do that on a full-time basis, if I could do that in a livable wage way, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same way. And I don't think it's limiting for your goal to be to pay rent telling dick jokes. Because I do think that is the only thing that's in your control in comedy. Like, you can, if you work hard enough, long enough, you can make a living doing comedy.
I think the emphasis on the working part.
Yeah, for sure. And there, you have to have you have to come into this with a certain threshold of already being funny, like, or
you think so? Okay, let's talk about
having
that.
A perspective on the world.
No, but
let's
talk about that.
So
part.
what I mean by that is, you don't have to have been the class clown.
Okay,
but you can't be a worker bee. You can't be a grunt. You have to, at some point in your life, something has to have happened to you that took you out of being a participant in life and turned you into an observer. And usually that's trauma.
I had this debate with somebody recently.
But that is genuinely what I think. If you are someone who is just a participant in life, and you've gone with the flow, and you've got the job at whatever fucking tech company, and you work from home half the week, and you go in the office the other half of the week, and you drive your fucking Tesla, and maybe
you gave him a Tesla.
Like, maybe you go ski on the weekend. Like, if that's you're fucking boring, and no one wants to hear what you have to talk about on stage. Because you just don't have anything interesting to talk about. You haven't lived an interesting life. I think to be a comedian, you have to have lived an interesting life. You have to have experienced some trauma that took you out of being a participant, made you think critically about the world. And if you don't have an experience like that, then it doesn't matter how hard you work. You're not going to make it.
No, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I had the same. Around the same concept of like trauma. There's a reason all comics have trauma on some level.
Yeah.
As far as like whether or not you can be funny, I think that is that a boring person? In my eyes, yes. Agreed. That person that drives the Tesla is a boring person. But I also feel like, well, if everybody's doing that, who's more relatable? You see what I'm saying? So I think comedy, in my opinion, is about relatability. And it doesn't matter what you do with your time. It's just how can you relate to people? If you know how to relate to people and you're doing all that stuff, you're probably doing it at a very high level. You know what I'm saying? Like you're if you can connect, then you have a key of whatever it is you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So even in comedy, even though you might have a mundane lifestyle, but if you know how to connect with folks, maybe you're the funniest guy at the water cooler. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you're the dude that they pick to lead because you're like, that guy's fucking chill.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But it's because that person is able to connect with those. If you can't connect, if you can't relate, that's when what the fuck are you doing? You shouldn't be anywhere near a stage.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the part of the persona of the guy who works in tech and drives a Tesla that makes me feel in my bones that he cannot do comedy successfully is that guy is bought in on the ladder that's in front of him. He thinks it's super cool that he works at a tech company. He thinks it's super cool that he drives a Tesla because Elon Musk is the shit. He wants to start his own company one day, but right now he's a fucking associate on the sales team, and he's gonna be the manager of the sales team, and then he's gonna be senior vice president of sales. And it's like, that's so boring. And there's nothing, like, if that's your whole perspective, if you can't be critical of tech as a whole, if you're just in it and you can't be outside of it and be looking in on it, looking back on it critically.
Yeah. If you're bought in.
If you're bought in, you can't be a comedian. I think if you're bought in on anything, you can't be a comedian.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
I 100%.
Not that you can't participate in things, but like you can go to church and be a comedian, but you have to have that perspective of like, oh yeah, this is
what are we doing here?
Crazy.
You guys?
Yeah,
we're all singing hymns.
Yeah. You can't just be a stan for things. You have to be outside of it.
No, yeah, for sure. I agree 100% that if you're bought in on anything, if you're like, which is crazy to think about if you're bought in on comedy too.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean. It's because I had this debate with somebody because I think that like with comedy, like it's also a skill-based thing, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like I told you when I first started comedy, I was like, I don't even know if I'm funny. I don't even know if people think I'm funny. But if you listen to enough podcasts and if you listen to enough videos of interviews of comics, you're like, I'm not the funniest dude. I was never the class clown.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think there's an element of learned skill.
Totally.
And I think that maybe you might not be naturally the funniest person in the room. You might not even be like just able to connect with people easily. But if you work hard and deliberate and trying to become a good comic or trying to even become a comic, I think it's doable.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just my perspective. Like I said, I was the oldest in you go to my family and you tell them, hey, Angel's doing comedy. All of them would be like, that guy's doing comedy? You mean the square?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Where everybody in my family just bagged on me for like the first year for saying that I was going to go do comedy. They were like, we're funnier than you.
Are they into it now or are they bored of it? No. My family's bored of it.
They're bored of it.
They're bored of it.
What way?
Okay. In the way of over Christmas, we have a cabin in Arnold and there's that Angel Lopez show in Avery, the Mystic Saloon.
Yes.
So I was booked on that show on the 26th of December. My whole family's at the cabin 4 miles away from the show. There's 20 plus people at the cabin. And I told them like, hey, I've got this show. Don't feel obligated to come, but if you want to come out and have a good time, we'll be there. And they were like, oh yeah, we'll be there. We're going to come.
Supportive.
And supportive. Yeah. And then the show starts and they're not there. And like the first comic goes up and they're not there. And 2 minutes before I go on stage, my dad walks in. But no one else came. They were just getting drunk and playing Nintendo Switch at the cabin.
Hell yeah.
That's what I mean by they're bored with it. They're like, all right, whatever, dude.
No, but see, the thing is like most comics think that it's a boredom. It's not that it's a boredom. It's just that they're living their life, dude. And you're all of a sudden you're intruding on their family time or whatever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you got into comedy thinking that your family was going to be supportive of it.
No, that's definitely not why I got in. And
no, but I'm saying in general.
And I meant it when I told them like, don't feel obligated to come.
I don't even tell my family of shows. I'm like, if you want to come to a show, follow me.
Most of the time I don't either. Stuff. Yeah, but I just mean like, that's where they're at with it now. When I first started, they were excited to come to shows because it was a new shiny thing. But now they're like,
I guess he's serious about this.
Yeah. But no, shout out to my dad. My dad loves comedy. He's probably one of the reasons that I'm in comedy because he's
the one who provided you with the trauma.
He's the one who provided me with the trauma. Yes and no, like everyone. But he had old like George Carlin records that I remember
Nice.
listening to, and he's always been a fan of comedy. And yeah, he comes. He's been to a few of my shows and always
Nice.
has a good time.
There's always some family members who want you. Like I think my family is supportive, but I don't think that they're like fans.
Yeah.
And I think that I have family who wants me to succeed, but at the same time, I don't want them to be there at every show.
Right.
I was like, no, like if you want to come to a show, let me know.
Yeah.
But I'm not out here trying to sell tickets to you.
Yeah.
I some of this stuff, and I'm still not at the level where I think that it's even worth getting a babysitter to come watch me. You know what I'm saying? I'm still learning how to do
Right.
this and learning how to do it right. So I would rather them not come than come.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest with you. If they come, I can't stop it. But
Does it get in your head when you look out in the audience and see them there?
no,
Okay.
because I don't care.
Yeah. Same.
I actually had a coworker last night at one of the shows. I didn't even notice it was her until after the show. She came up
That's
to me. She's
awesome.
like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Oh
Yeah.
shit, it's you."
Yeah.
I invite people, but I don't get my hopes up. Lupita has been to, in the 6 years that I've done this, maybe 5 shows.
Okay.
And it's because she had nothing else to do, and I was the ride.
Sure. Okay.
So I was like,
Yeah.
we're either coming back from something or we're going to something, and she needs to come because we're leaving right afterwards.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever met her.
So very few people have.
Yeah.
People have met her.
So some people in the scene know she's real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Marcian met her. Shaheen has met her. Diego has met her. David has met her.
Okay.
A lot of people older. You're like a newer class, which
Yeah,
is why
yeah.
you don't see her as much.
Yeah.
But like I said, she's come around. You'll see her more often if you come to events that aren't shows.
Gotcha.
So like when Laughs was doing bingo night,
Yeah.
like she came to 1 or 2 of those.
Okay.
Or like not the Christmas party, but like just random events.
Yeah.
You'll see her every now and then.
Yeah.
But
What's the next thing for you comedy wise? What's the next thing you're working on or big goal or?
well, I was just thinking about that yesterday. I think for this year, my goal is to get to an hour as far as material.
Mhm.
I did 30 minutes. I have 30 minutes worth of material. I did that last year. I have to have an hour by April, which is a little
Okay.
bit of a time crunch.
What's the show?
Doing a college gig in Texas.
That's good. You're headlining a college gig.
I'm headlining a college gig in
Oh, that's
Texas.
so you went out. You did the audition thing for
Conference.
NACA. What is it?
APCA. Well,
APCA.
there's different ones, but
Yeah.
the one I did was APCA.
Okay, and so you booked stuff from that.
I booked one show.
That's fantastic.
I booked one show.
That's great.
Which is, I was at that time in the weekend, I'm like, it's just one show. But in my head, I'm like, it's one, I got a show.
Yeah, totally.
It was cool. It was a cool experience.
That's awesome. So you need to have an hour by April.
I need to have an hour by April, or as close to it as I can. There's other comics I've talked to that have done college shows, and they're like, you can kind of cushion it with like Q&A and like engage with the students and like talk to them and do a little bit of crowd work and stuff.
Does it have to be clean? I know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Extremely
Okay.
clean. No sex.
So you
no
can't
politics.
do the back tattoo joke.
I haven't thought about that joke, but I'm gonna have to take it out.
Okay. Yeah.
That one, but I only really have 2 dirty jokes. I have
Yeah.
the MLK joke and the tattoo joke, and that's
Yeah.
it. Everything else is, I don't. I mean, my head, I'm like, I just like anything else that comes to mind. Sex comes
Yeah.
to mind. You
Yeah.
heard me cuss like 30 times tonight
Right.
or today.
Awkward. We're sitting in a room
I know.
alone,
Talking about
and you've thought about sex 30 times.
Yeah, dude. It's just that tension is there.
Wow.
I don't know if it's the heat or.
Let's turn the air conditioner.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So it's like you do gotta be clean.
Yeah. So an hour. How do you? I mean, no one really has an answer to this, but when you say you have 30, how do you classify that 30 that you have?
I classify it as I have material. First and foremost, like some people say I've done 30, and it's like, okay, but how much of that was actually material versus
Right.
crowd interaction, crowd
Yeah.
work? It's like, no, like I've like start to finish just jokes I've written.
Yep.
I have over an hour.
Yeah.
But that I feel comfortable and that I've done on stage and that I've timed it, I have at least 30.
And that you feel comfortable, meaning it's show quality.
Yes. Yeah. And some of it, like, if you were to tell me, it's like, well, is all 30 minutes of that material that you have what you do on stage when you're hosting? No, because when you're hosting, it's a different set.
Yep.
And if I'm showcasing, like let's say I'm trying to get into a club or I'm trying to get into a show where the booker's watching, I'm gonna do my best of that 30 to try to put on the strongest set I can, you know? But I feel comfortable enough to where like I've tested it, it gets laughs, it's consistent, which is what's most important. Is it consistent? Does it work? And can it be replicated?
Yeah. So of that 30, how many minutes would you say are written at the best level or that you're capable of right now? Is all of it at the best level you're capable of right now?
It's progressive. So like I think I would say yes at this level right now, but I think like I said, it's a skill.
Yeah.
So the more you do, the better you're going to get at it. And what I find more often than not is like, instead of writing a whole new bit, what happens is I'll keep doing jokes and I'll slowly add to them.
Yeah.
So like I'll add a new tag or
over time
or a new joke. Yeah. And so it just starts to add up. So of those 30, like I put it to you this way, like when you're first starting off, if I came up to you and say, hey, I need you to drop 15, are you going to have to write out your set list for the 15 or can you just drop it in a second?
I can just drop it.
Boom. Okay. Do you feel that way about 30?
Almost. So a goal that I set for myself in October was to have 30 minutes of material by the end of the year. And the way I thought about that in my head was like, I want it to be 30 minutes of the best that I'm capable of right now.
Okay.
I did not achieve that because I didn't understand what I was saying to myself when I said that. But I do have 30 minutes of material, and I've done all of those jokes in that 30 minutes I've done at shows, and they've performed, and they perform consistently.
Okay.
The first 15, the first 18 are stronger than the last 12.
Okay.
But 3 weeks ago, I had 2 shows in the same day. I did 15 one show, 15 the other, totally separate material. So that felt really good to be able to get to that point. And I've been, doing a lot of writing and going up a lot. And, but people always say like, if you have 10 minutes, you probably have 5. If you have 15 minutes, you probably have 10, that piece of advice.
It's true.
Which I think it's true. And I also think that it's an incomplete piece of advice because when I heard it as a newbie, it wasn't very helpful.
In what way?
In the way of, what's implied in that piece of advice, which is usually not stated overtly, is if you have 10 minutes, then you have 5 minutes that is at the best you are capable of doing right now. It doesn't mean that you have 5 minutes that's ready for a special.
Right.
So I guess what I didn't understand about that piece of advice starting out was that aspect of it. It's the 10 minutes you have, 5 is at the best you're capable of now. And it's a sliding scale.
So the way I heard that advice because I was told by that advice by Saul Trujillo. So Saul was I was just starting out. I think I was like a year and a half in, and I ran into Saul at the Sacktown Comedy Get Down at Laughs, and he was like, "You're a new comic?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "How much time you got?" I was like, "I could do 7." Yeah. And he's like, "I'll be honest with you, and I'm not trying to shit on you. It means you probably got 2-3 tops." Yeah. And he's like, and the train of thought was, when you're first starting out, you have a lot of fat. Yes. And so that's really where the breakdown comes into, is like how much of that is fat versus how much of that is punchlines. Yep. So if you have 15 minutes, is it setup, punch, setup, punch, setup, punch, setup, punch, setup, punch? Or is it setup, 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 punch, setup, 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 punch? Right. And that's a huge difference as far as like performing a 15 or less minute set. Yeah. Because if you're doing like a 30-minute set, you have more leeway to do storytelling type of jokes, which lends itself to longer setups. But when you're first starting out as a comic, you only get 5 minutes. Yeah. And if 4 of those 5 minutes are set up, you got 30 seconds at most. Yeah. So as far as like having time, I always view it as, that's why I tell you, like, how quickly can you like do it without having to memorize stuff? Because usually when you're memorizing stuff, it means you're not the punchline isn't internalized. So at least in my view, it's like if
Totally.
I came up and Jenny was like, hey, my host pulled out last minute, I need you to jump in real quick. I don't need to think about my set.
Yeah.
I have enough jokes where it's punch, 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 punch.
Yep.
Where it's like I can fill in 15 minutes fast.
Yep.
This year I got to 20 minutes. I can do that in a heartbeat. 25 minutes. It's where I'm pushing it. Where it's like I think without even looking at notes, I can do 27 minutes. 30 minutes, and it's an endurance thing because it's also like keeping track of everything you said and in the order you say it and how you say it. So it's like if you can get to 30 minutes where it's like you can drop it on a dime, like you don't even need any setup, you don't need any warning, you just here's a mic, go do 30 minutes. Yeah. That's when you got 30 minutes. Yeah. And so
that's a good way to measure it. I like that.
Yeah.
And so you need to have an hour by April.
I need to have an hour by April, which
you can drop.
There's a lot more leeway for those kinds of gigs because I think that, like I said, I've talked to a lot of comics about college gigs specific, and it's not like the stakes aren't as high as for what a club. If you got a club gig and you're performing an hour or 45 minutes to an hour, the club is looking at you like, is this an act that I'm going to bring back next year?
Right. Yeah.
Right. For colleges, and the goal is to try to come back. But I think for colleges, it's like, we just need you to entertain these kids for an hour. And that's why when I talk to some people, are like, you can cushion it with some Q&A and you can cushion it with like just some crowd work stuff. Okay. You don't need to have material for an hour. But in my head, that's the reality of it. In my head, I'm like, but if I can get as close to an hour of material, that'll make my 30 stronger. Yeah. And that'll make me closer to 45 minutes that are strong. Yeah. Which is ultimately the goal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big goal. Have an hour. That's great. My goal for the next year is to have 30.
There you go.
Yeah, and start to headline shitty bar shows with 30.
Don't be, because you're what, a year, 2 years in?
Year and a half.
Year and a half. Okay. Yeah. Don't be impatient. So like I hate
this advice.
I know. Because there's something to say for stage time. So stage time is really what time in comedy doesn't mean shit. Yep. You could be 30 years into comedy.
That's why I hate this advice.
Yeah. Because it doesn't matter. You could be 30 years and you could be as shitty as somebody who's a year in. Yeah. It's if you see that, that's fucking astounding. Yeah. Because usually somebody that long will have picked up on some skill or some tricks of the trade that help hopefully make them better than an open micer. Yep. But the reality of it is that between having a full-time job, between living a life, between having a personal relationship with people, there's only so much stage time you can fit without sacrificing a lot of that. And even if you are sacrificing a lot of that, not all mics, not all stage time is created equal.
You said that to me a few months ago, and I understand what you were saying now. Yeah. Because I sort of understood at the time, but like I can work out the big broad pieces of a joke at Henry's open mic. Mm-hmm. I cannot work out the subtleties. No. Because there usually isn't an audience, and when it is an audience, it's a bar audience. They have a very short attention span. The lighting in the room isn't good. Like I can't work out the subtleties of like trying out different facial expressions and trying out 2 beats instead of 1 after this tag. Yeah. But no, I hear what you're saying. I am willing to wait as long as I have to and not a second more.
It's not about waiting. That's the thing. It's like, it's not an active thing.
Maybe waiting's the wrong word. I am willing to be patient as much as I have to be patient and no more than that. Because I started late.
There's no time frame, Marcel. That's that, and I know that feeling because I started a little bit older.
Don't deny my reality.
No. It's not that your reality is wrong. It's just that it's misled.
Story of my life.
But it's because of what you were about the same age. 35.
I'm 35. Yeah. We were both born in 90.
David started at 19. Yeah. Do you think David is, and I'm using David as an example because I love David because he's a fucking hard ass worker.
David's amazing.
David works hard and he started young. Do you think David is where he's supposed to be as far as level of skill and the things he's doing?
I don't think there's a supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think there's supposed to be.
Exactly.
But I also hate it when people ask me how long I've been in comedy and I say a year and a half, and then they say, "Oh, well, you're a baby," or "You have 7 minutes." And it's like, okay, I'm a year and a half in, but in that year and a half, I've been on stage over 800 times. And there's not a lot of comics who start that way.
No.
So I'm a year and a half in, but I'm not. A year and a half in means nothing. You have to know how much stage time a person has managed to grab. Not
just that, because it's not just, that's the thing, is it's not just stage time. Stage time is an element of it.
Yeah, of course.
Stage time is an element of it, and usually people correlate how much stage time you had with how much time you've been doing it. That's where the miscommunication comes from, right? So it's like 800 times in the year and a half. Okay, let's break that down. Let's say you got a 400 times in the first year. Do you think that 400 times that first year was as significant as that 400 times in the second half of the year?
No, it gets progressively more meaningful.
Right.
Yeah.
So that there's a comic that and that's what I'm telling you, like, not every stage time is built the same.
Yep.
There's a comic that I know who doesn't go to any open mics or rarely goes to an open mic. And I tell him, how do you practice stuff? How do you learn what's funny or not? How do you develop yourself? And the way he explained it is this way. He says, look, I don't go to open mics because one of two things. One, open mics for me are more detrimental than they are helpful. It's a waste of time, to an extent. If I want to try a joke, when I do get stage time, I'll just do it. But I've been doing comedy for so long that my first try at a joke is probably the best joke an open micer has ever written.
Yes.
But that only comes with putting in time of like writing and putting in time of stage time, because even my first delivery of that joke is going to be almost tailored.
Yeah.
Compared to like an open micer. So he's like, so even though I'm trying stuff out at shows, they're at the highest level that I'm at right now.
Yeah.
What you need to do is realize, based on what you're describing to me, you're like, I want to start headlining bar mics. Like, you said that.
I said that. Yeah, go ahead.
And
I have a caveat, but go ahead.
Yeah. I think if you, like you said, you're like, I want to do this at the highest level. I want to do this. I want to be a full-time comic. What are you doing? You got to ask yourself, what am I doing to get to that? Start with that. So if you don't mind me asking you, do you want to be a full-time comic?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
What clubs are you working right now?
Well, so I'm not passed at any clubs.
Okay, stop right there. Okay. And I think I had this conversation with you. It's like,
yeah,
I've had this conversation with many comics. It's like, if you want to work at a club, you should be living there.
And I am.
You started
at
to
our local.
You started to. I remember we've had this
Laughs
conversation,
Unlimited,
but I tell this to everybody. You got to start living there, because just because you're putting in all these hours in comedy, it goes back to the art versus the business.
Yeah,
that's not what all the businesses want. You got to learn. This club wants this. This club wants that. This audience member at this other club doesn't respond to this. So I'll give you an example, and I'm not shitting on anybody. I'm just naming facts. If you go to Def Puppy Comedy Club, I've never seen a shitty audience where it's like they're always game for everything.
Yes.
They're always enjoying laughter. They're there for fun. You could say the most outlandish thing. As long as it's a joke and you're trying to make it funny, they're on board.
Yeah.
It's not the same in every club. It's not the same at every club. And if you want to work the Def Puppy Comedy Club, the set that's going to get you booked as a host or as a feature or as a headliner probably won't be the same set at a Punchline.
Yeah.
Or at a Laughs or at an Improv. So it's like, that's why you have to learn your audience. And this is the business side of comedy. Not everybody laughs at everything. You have to figure out what you can. So therein lies the 30 minutes. Do you have a universal 30 that'll work everywhere?
Right.
Or do you have a 30 that only works at specific venues? And when you really think about it, you're looking for universal jokes that you can drop anywhere and they'll hit anytime.
Yeah.
That's what you got to ask yourself.
Yep.
What do I have that's universal?
Yep.
Once you have then it's about, hey, give me an opportunity to show you this universal that I have, and if you like it, maybe we can talk a future date. But if you don't like it, let me know what you don't like about it.
Yeah.
And then we can tailor it.
Yeah.
Jenny at Labs is so good at that.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny won't hold your hand, and Jenny won't sugarcoat stuff.
Yep.
When I first auditioned, I think I told you this, she told me, maybe you're not a storytelling comic.
Yeah.
Do you think I tell stories in my sets? I don't have that skill yet.
Right.
I might one day. I might still try it,
Yeah.
and I'll figure it out. But if I want to work at Labs and she's noticing this deficit at my set,
Yeah.
why am I going to keep working on these jokes that aren't working there?
Yeah.
And aren't working for her, the booker and the owner of this club that I want to work in.
Yep.
It's so weird to think about, like, but that's not what art is, where it's like you're specifically doing a thing to get the higher, and it's like, no, but this opportunity to work at a club and have a consistent income and have, relative consistent income is going to give you other opportunities, because now you have a universal set that you can sell to another club. And you go, hey, I'm a regular host at Labs, and give me an audition and I'll show you why. And that'll open up another opportunity and another opportunity. And soon enough, you're working every club in Northern California.
Yep.
Yeah,
I hear you, and I agree with everything you've said. When I say I want to headline a shitty bar show, it's not an ego thing about headlining.
Right.
It's I'm impatient and I want to set goals that are going to help me accelerate the work.
Right.
So if I set the goal of I want to do 30 minutes on the Vince's showcase some point next year.
Sure.
That means that I got to have 30 minutes. I got to do a lot of writing. I got to do a lot of refining. And if I don't set that goal, maybe I don't get all that work done. That's my perspective.
It's the same way I had with the college gig, where it's like,
Yep.
I can get close to an hour. That'll help me accelerate or push farther my comedy.
Yes.
I totally see that. But I would caveat with the how high of a priority is that? Because if I'm a comic from out of town, let's say I'm from Nevada, Vegas, whatever, right? And I know the scene. I've been around for a minute. I book shows. I work clubs, blah, blah, blah. And I come up to you and goes, hey, man, how much time can you do? And go, I've done 30. Oh, shoot, you done 30 at a club? No, it was Vince's bar, and I did 30 minutes. And I know Vince's bar, and I'm just like, nothing to shit on Vince's.
Right.
But it's like, okay, is that the level of comedy that I want to book?
Right.
But if you told me, I don't have 30 yet, but I'm a 15 at Laughs. I'm a host. I'm a regular hoster. That carries weight to it.
Yeah.
And so, because Jenny doesn't book everybody, and Jenny's very specific in what she wants.
Yep.
So it's a feather in your cap that speaks more volume than time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Totally. Yeah, and I think that this goal of having 30 is in alignment with the goal of getting past it Laughs.
I see that. Because if you have a strong 30, then you probably have a strong 15.
Then I can cherry pick the best 15 from that 30.
Well, you've performed at Laughs.
Yeah.
How much time have you done at Laughs? That's the most that you've done so far.
It was either 10 or 12.
Okay. So...
And then I've done a bunch of guest sets too. She's let me up to do guest sets.
Yeah.
But
she
those are
knows
5.
you, and you're there all the time.
Yeah, and I'm on the
and you're doing on the stuff. The point that I was trying to make is like of those 10 or 12 minutes that you've done, did you have those 30 and you drew from it yet, or were you still building up to those 30?
Okay. When I did that set, I don't know how much. I didn't have the 30. I didn't have 30.
No. You were still building up to the 30.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you have more time, essentially, you feel that you can draw from.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it's just a matter of time. And this is the patient part, is because this is the artist perspective. Now you got to put yourself in the booker's perspective or the owner's perspective.
Yep.
You're one of how many new comics started this year, do you think?
30.
Okay,
I don't
30.
know.
Conservatively 30,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more.
But there's probably 70 or 80 comics who have in their mind, like, I want to get past It Laughs right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all those comics are all messaging Jenny, are all hitting up Laughs, are all there at the pro-ams, and they're all hoping to be in line. There are certain things that are going to make you stand out in line while you're in line. Performing well when you get a chance to do stage time is one of those. Professionalism, not burning bridges and like talking bad or talking bad the club or talking bad about the owner. That's another one, which is very simple stuff.
I know.
I feel for you, it's probably like secondhand, like duh.
But
for some people, it's not.
That's like back to the masking thing of like things that I took from that life, not burning bridges, being able to be a good political agent, professional. Yeah.
But it's like stuff like that can help out.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, you also got to remember that of those 80 that might want to do it, maybe 40 of them are all doing that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to wait in line.
Yeah. And that's the patience that I'm willing to have. Because I understand it from Jenny's perspective. Like, she needs hosts when she needs hosts. And when she doesn't need them, she doesn't need them. And there's a lot of people who are like ahead of me in line, so to speak. Not that there is a line, but I am endlessly patient with those variables. But the variables I can control, which is improving my jokes, building more time, getting better. That's what I'm trying to accelerate as much as possible.
Did I ever tell you about Gary?
No. Who's Gary?
Gary was one of the comics I first started doing comedy with. He was a writing buddy.
Okay.
Gary, we started at the same time. Gary was doing all the mics. He was another travel buddy. We would travel. Gary and I went to Chico a couple times, and we went to Yuba City a couple times and stuff. Great dude, smart guy, writes a shit ton. Gary gave himself 1 year.
Gary to get passed?
It was very vague, but it was very specific at the same time. I was like, what do you mean a year? He's like, I just want to see if I can start getting some work or start getting some traction within 1 year.
Yeah.
I told Gary,
wow,
Gary, you're crazy. 1 year is nothing.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I don't want to waste my time. He said, he's like, I love this. I'm interested and I'm putting in work. He writes every day. I don't know if he still does. I'm sure he still does. But at the time he was like, I write every day. And he's a good writer. I thought he was a great writer.
What's Gary's last name?
Out of his, respect for him.
Sure.
But
I'm just trying to figure out if I know him. Is he
no,
still
you
in the
don't,
scene?
because after a year he stopped doing comedy.
Wow.
Yeah, he and I respect that because he set himself a specific deadline. He set himself a specific goal, and he didn't feel he met it. So he's just like, I need to move away. Not a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Which is why, and if you go back and you ask other people who might know Gary, they were like, Gary, oh my God, he was XYZ. You know what? The dude worked hard, and the dude gave himself a deadline, and he was true to his word, and he was a good person, period. So it's just like, maybe he wasn't the best comic. He didn't give himself much time to develop as a comic, but my point with that is that like, some skills just take much more time than you think. And it's not even just stage time.
Right.
It's so weird to think about. Cause like when I first started comedy, I started in 2019 doing the stand-up comedy club. I'm like 2025 full-time comic. Straight up said that.
Yeah.
Straight up said that 2025 full-time comic, making a living. This is piece of cake. I'll figure it out by the first year. I'll develop an hour. The second year, I'll start working clubs, and I'll start headlining, and I'll make a full-time living by 2025. It's not the case,
right?
Because you realize that like there's a lot more out of your control than you think.
Totally.
There are stuff within your control. I think writing is one of them. Stage time is another one, and that's all really you can do.
Yeah, and there are skill sets that just take time, even if you get up 1,000 times in a year, and I'm starting to see what some of those skill sets are. And one of them, I think, is being able to navigate the crowd's energy. However you do that as a comic. For some comics, it's crowd work. for some comics, it's like breaking the fourth wall, like talking about how the joke went. Whatever it is, however you navigate the crowd's energy and interweaving that with your material seamlessly.
Well, that goes back to what I told you about what the club wants to see. For instance, Jenny, as a host, she doesn't want you to do any crowd work.
Right.
She doesn't want you to do as little interaction as you should with her club. And that goes back to what I'm saying. It's like if you develop this skill and you feel proud that you're the master at crowd work, maybe if you're the master, it might get you fly.
But that's Jenny. That's not necessarily other clubs. But I don't mean this in a club environment. Like obviously it happens in a club environment, but just thinking about the skills that do take years to learn, I think that's one of them. To be able to do that consistently.
Sure.
Is an amazing skill, and I'm just now starting to learn that actually is a skill.
Yeah.
Because the best sets that I've had were sets where I was able to do that successfully, and I can't repeat it every time.
Well, that's the question. Is you're looking again from the business perspective? You want repeatability,
right? Yeah. So that's a skill that bookers are looking for.
Yeah, because think
that's
about
going to take you years. To
you booked your own room.
Yeah.
You want guaranteed the results.
Yeah.
You don't want to take a chance on somebody who was like, this is a 50-50 comic. He's either going to shit the bed or he's going to murder.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could take a risk like that and you go, all right, let's see what he can do.
Yeah.
But most of the time, if you're trying to put on the best show you can for your patrons, for your guests, for your friends and family, you want guaranteed results.
Yep.
That's the hardest part about comedy is like figuring out that guaranteed results. And that goes back to the universal thing. Is it guaranteed? Is it guaranteed at a bar? Is it guaranteed at a mic? Is it guaranteed at a club? Is it guaranteed at a showcase? Is it that's and sometimes there's variations of it where it's like it doesn't all have to be guaranteed, but like 90% of it should be guaranteed.
Yeah.
You should be expecting that, which allows you to add the nuance of the pause or the look or the body language. You know, that guarantee is what allows you to play with all that.
Yeah.
Because you know what's coming and you know what to expect and you know where to keep them in your palm of your hand and how to play with them.
Yeah, I think the guarantee is like a minimum threshold of people will have a good time. Yeah. And because the guarantee even for the best comedians is not I'm going to crush. Right? Because
that's what we all want.
That's what we all want, but even the best comedians, even Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle their performance is going to vary show to show.
Well, they're on a whole nother level too.
Right, but I just mean like if their performance varies show to show, ours is definitely going to vary show to show.
Oh, yeah.
So some shows you'll crush. Some shows, it'll be a B-. People had a good time, but it was a B- show for you. But I feel like that band is like what we mean when we say consistency. What's your minimum? What's your threshold? Is it a B-? Is it a C? Is it a D? If it's a C or a D, you
still need to work.
You need to work,
or you need to cut something out and adjust.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know. That's how I think about it.
Yeah. So, where do you think your threshold is right now? Your lowest?
I rate all my sets.
You rate them. You methodically go through. Yeah. Like, how did this one do? Good.
So, in the last month, the lowest I've had is a B-.
A B-?
Yeah.
Now, this is you rating yourself. Do you feel like you're being critical?
As much as I can be. I mean, I am my own harshest critic for sure. And
we're also biased.
And definitely. And like, yeah, we're biased and there's things that I am not seeing or hearing or whatever, but I do everything I can to be objective about it. I listen back to the set. Yeah. I write down my thoughts and feelings about the set immediately after getting off stage. Within 20 minutes of doing my set, I write about it.
Good.
And then I give it a letter grade. But
when you write, do you write by yourself usually, or do you have writing buddies?
Usually by myself, but
have you thought about writing in a group or with somebody?
I have, and I do from time to time.
Okay.
I'd like to do more of it, but it's also just like a schedules thing. It's hard to get people together. But I always get something out of it when I write with a group.
Dennis Gaxiola, who's a traveling headliner, once told me, because I asked him about writing in groups, because I told him I hated group writing. I told him I feel like in a group setting, There's always somebody who like derails the conversation, or like you're really gung ho about giving somebody feedback and they don't reciprocate. And he said that in writing, it's mostly a lone wolf type of thing.
Yeah.
Where we're just like on our own. But if we are able to find trustworthy individuals who we like know are going to take it as serious as you are and give you the same amount of love as you are giving them, then that's invaluable.
Yeah.
Because comedy doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? You need that outside perspective. Because if you're talking to me and you tell me a joke and I don't chuckle, in your head, you're like, that's the greatest joke I've ever written.
Yeah.
But if I go, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Then you start to like,
it's a data point. It gives you more data than writing by yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. So same thing with feedback on sets, dude. So like Robert Emoto, like I remember when I first started telling Robert, I was like, I really am so serious about this stuff. He'd be like, well, if you're serious, send me a tape and I'll give you some constructive criticism.
Yeah. That's great.
And he's like, just forewarning, I'm going to be as honest as I can. It might hurt your feelings if I tell you that joke isn't working and you're like, that's my favorite joke.
Yeah.
But Robert was really good about being honest and like trying to be helpful.
It's hard to find that feedback. Not a lot of comics are everyone's doing their own thing. Not everyone's willing to put in the energy to actually really watch your set and give you useful critique.
No, yeah. And it's not easy too, because if you think about it, how much comedy we watch, and then on top of that, now watching somebody else's comedy.
Yeah.
And usually when they're asking you to watch something, it's not because it's a murder. It's because they're like, I think there's something there, but it keeps bombing.
Yeah.
They're like, so let me watch this bomb again.
Yeah.
I find feedback to be easiest if I'm live.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good at giving feedback when I'm watching video, because in my head I'm like, well, maybe they didn't record laughter right, or maybe the audio or video is wrong and I can't see their face. But I've told this to anybody. It's like, if you tell me, and I do this with comics who are like, I want to get booked on your show. And I go, look, I haven't seen you do time. I haven't seen you do a little bit. Let me know when your next show is, and I'll try to make an effort to actually watch.
Yeah. And
I'll just be honest with you.
Yep.
If you want that.
Yeah.
But not everybody wants that. Not everybody is interested in that. And at the same time, not everybody can handle that.
Yep.
It just depends on the person.
Totally.
But I still think that with feedback, going back to the whole mundane Tesla guy, like I think that guy can be funny with feedback. I think if he sat down with you and he was just like, hey, this is hilarious, right? And you're just like, nah, dude, that shit sucks. He's gonna be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And I think that guy can become a comic. I do think everything I've seen, and maybe it's just my hopeful biased aspiration, that it's like, you might not be instinctually like the hilarious person who just has that charisma to him and has that like
for sure.
in
There's
him.
different kinds of funny people.
But I'll take a person who works hard over somebody who was born with it. There's
some charisma deficits you cannot work though.
No, you just got to find your lane, dude. You just got to find what makes them funny. I think so. Like, like I think people just need to find what makes them funny. And sometimes you go into comedy open mic, or you go into comedy thinking like, I want to be like this person. Yeah. That person's hilarious because they're them. You got to find out what's funny about you, how you view the world, or how you view things, and like how that perspective is funny. Yeah. And then nurture that. Yeah. And I think that's finding your voice. I don't know if I've found mine. I want to say I'm working towards it. I'm actively working towards it, but I also think it might just be like an endless endeavor.
Yeah, I think on some level all of this is. On some level, jokes are never done.
Forever?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you got to be like Lucy Cage, just throw them in the burner and move on to the next hour. Yeah. Which Josh Johnson, that guy's prolific.
He's prolific. That's incredible. Yeah. His clips lately, one thing I've noticed is that he's getting laughs on setups that aren't even funny.
Well,
because he's performing.
They're not funny to you.
Whoa, they're just not funny. He's just like his clips. He's obviously has a massive fan base now, and now he's performing for his fans. Yeah, and his fans laugh when he opens his mouth. Yeah, which I think is a little bit of a trap.
Well, that's have you heard interviews where people talk about that?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
they go, now you want to bury yourself,
Yeah.
so that you can see if you can dig yourself out.
Yeah.
So then you start. Then that's what I'm saying. Like at different levels, there's different skills and there's different obstacles,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like at the open mic level, your obstacle is learn to start writing, learn stage presence,
Yep.
and confidence.
Yeah.
I think that's at that level.
Yeah.
At the club level, it's consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency, universal jokes that you can tell anywhere, anytime. It doesn't matter if it's in the Bay. It doesn't matter if it's in Nebraska. These jokes are going to more or less work.
Yeah.
Or at least I think they're more or less going to work because they've been working.
Yep.
And then when you get to feature level, I think it's like same universality, but also memorizing a longer set.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Same universality, just longer set.
set, which is an endurance thing.
Yeah.
And then once you get to an hour, I think that jump from 30 minutes to an hour really defines like when somebody is a veteran of the game, because you can have an hour's worth of material. It doesn't mean you're a headliner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Headliners sell tickets.
Well, that's another aspect of it.
Yeah. Yeah. We should probably wrap this up. We've been going 2.5 hours.
I'm telling you, I could
really
talk forever,
enjoyed
man.
it though. Thank you so much. One last question.
All right. Green is my favorite color.
Which I ask everybody. There's one emotion that changes our perspective on the passage of time. It slows, not that changes. There's one emotion that slows time down as far as we perceive it, and that is contentment.
Okay.
Contentment. So what makes you content?
What makes me what slows down time for me?
Mm-hmm.
What makes me content? Chores? I don't know. No, you're saying
chores.
emotion.
Yeah. So like for me, there's one time in my life where I can remember, not that I haven't felt contentment outside of this one time, but this was like, I just remember this feeling of contentment so deeply. I was like 12.
Okay.
In the car with my dad and my brother and two of my cousins. And it's like late at night. I don't even remember what we were doing. But we're driving around. We're listening to, my dad listens to this radio show called Dr. Demento.
I've heard of it.
And there's like he'll play Weird Al songs and like all this goofy shit.
Yeah.
And it's like just the dudes in the car, windows are down. We're belting out these goofy songs at the top of our lungs. And I just remember feeling like it doesn't get better than this.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So something that's like you wish would be going on forever.
Right.
Okay. I thought you meant like something just makes the day longer. That's why I said
No.
Yeah, man. It doesn't get better than this. That emotion.
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to say peak doesn't get better than this is being in Mexico, watching anime, eating fresh food cut, and my grandma going, just don't open the door. I'll be back in 2 hours.
That's awesome.
That is like
answer.
This is amazing.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
That's all I have to say to anybody in the social bubble.